With Pete Davis and Flounder at the controls live, Matt Gaetz is now talking in Congress to get rid of Speaker McCarthy. Flounder, let's go live to Fox News. Here, look, check this out.
Understanding what the budget is. We have been out of compliance with budget laws for most of my life, most of many of your lives. And by the way, if we did those things, if we had single subject bills, if we had an understanding on the top line, if we had open amendments, if we had trust and honesty and understanding, there would be times when my conservative colleagues and I would lose, might be a few times when we'd win. There'd be times that we would form partnerships that might otherwise not
Florida.
Be really predictable.
They took an earlier vote to allow him to take a vote to get rid of McCarthy, the Speaker.
These last few days, we've suspended the momentum that we had established the week earlier, where we were bringing bills to the floor, voting on them, staying late at night, working hard. That's what the American people expect. It's something Speaker McCarthy hasn't delivered, and that's why I've moved to vacate the chair. I reserve.
Gentlemen. Wow.
Good, shake it up.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what their option is. I don't know what they plan to do. I don't know if he's running, if he wants it, or maybe, I don't know. Jim Jordan's a congressman from Ohio. That's the guy. And who's the other guy from California we like, too? There's a bunch of them in the House who are Republicans who are legit guys, but what are they going to do? Marjorie Taylor Greene for Speaker.
Well, the other thing is Steve Scalise is recovering from cancer, and he can't do much right now.
Well, again, I don't know. I'm hardly a a full-time political analyst by a long shot, so I don't know what I'm talking about, other than following the news every day as a news guy. But so anyway, here we go. They took an earlier vote to allow them. They tried to stop the vote from coming to the floor, and they lost that. And the reason that the vote came to the floor to oust him, which they're going to do now, they're talking about whether to oust him now. I guess this is the debate, which will force the vote on whether to get rid of McCarthy as a speaker. And so anyway, so they took that first vote to allow them to to do the debate and then the vote. So that's what's going on now. It may take a while. And then and by the way, the Republicans who are complaining about this, and Gaetz is the leader, Gaetz, whatever you call him, they want more individual. They don't want to lump all the Ukraine spending bill and all this other stuff to try to sneak it by. It's duplicitous, and it's not right. It's kind of sneaky. And he has said before that at some point or another, McCarthy's lied to us. He said, let's get over it. Let's start governing. By the way, and I don't know if this is true, but remember Matt Gaetz was originally he was accused. He wasn't officially charged, but he was accused and investigated by the FBI on charges that he and a buddy who did go to jail for some kind of underage sex ring, which wasn't really a prostitution ring, but apparently he paid some money to a couple of 17-year-old girls to go on a trip with him, whatever, and he got in prison for it. And the charge was that Matt Gaetz was in on this too, that he was part of giving money to the girls to buy their plane tickets so he could meet him in Bermuda or something. Well, I forgot what all the specifics were, but anyway, the charge was Matt Gaetz, and a lot of pictures of him posing with young chicks, young babes, high school type college girls, and no kidding, by the way, he's a young, good-looking congressman, and girls are flocking to him, so that's not surprising. Hell, girls used to want to take a picture with me when I was 28 too, or 33. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that was all the. I wonder if the reason that this has gone this far is because Speaker McCarthy maybe had something to do with trying to get rid of him when all that stuff came to light last year or many months ago. I don't know. Have you heard anything?
The trend is they go after these strong conservatives with this thing about the underage girls. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Epstein client list still hasn't been released. Yeah. But you go from Russell Brand to Matt Gaetz and all these other guys that are being attacked on the same line from women coming out of the woodwork against them. It's the same MO every single time.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, speaking of the women in the MO, we're going to talk a lot about Trevor Bauer today. Again, this is Pete does Holy Crap at Sports every day a little after 5 o'clock, and we talk about things when this is, to me, and when I was talking to Flounder about it when I came in a few hours ago, we were both going, the dirty, rotten son of a but I'll throw her in prison. I said, the guy, holy cow. This whole thing is, it ruined. Anyway, we'll talk about it. Here's Jim Jordan. Can we take him live there, Flounder?
87,000 IRS agents. That bill passed. Parents' Bill of Rights. That bill passed. Energy legislation passed. Border security Immigration enforcement legislation, the strongest bill ever to pass the Congress, passed earlier this year. We have done what we told them we were going to do. We can't help it the Senate won't take up those good common sense bills. They'll have to answer to the American people come Election Day. Oversight. We have done the oversight that we're supposed to do. Because of our oversight, we know that parents were targeted by the Department of Justice. Because of our oversight, we know that 51 former intel officials misled the country weeks before the most important election we have. And because of our oversight, the Disinformation Governance Board at the Department of Homeland Security is gone. Because of our oversight, the memo attacking pro-life Catholics has been rescinded. Because of our oversight, unannounced visits to Americans' home by the Internal Revenue Service has stopped. That happened under Speaker McCarthy.
Okay, there you go. Well, now Jim Jordan obviously is in favor of keeping Speaker McCarthy. But again, here we go. This could take hours. And once they get done with the debate, I don't know if they've set a record 5 minutes apiece. I don't know. After that, it could be it'll be a voice vote. And again, the reason that they were allowed to get rid of McCarthy on this vote and debate from the earlier vote is because the Democrats said, yeah, let's get rid of him. So they're helping get rid of McCarthy to cause even more turmoil in the Republican Party, obviously, which is good for them, I assume. I don't know. I don't know, Pete. What do you? Can you? Is this a good thing, bad thing? I don't. It can't be good news for anybody, is it, or is it?
I think it's a good thing in the Republic that we're having a strong, healthy debate, and we can watch it and see it as citizens.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that too. Yeah.
I don't like the fact that you have all these hand wringers background going, oh, we can't do this, we shouldn't do this. Oh, let's just stay with the status quo then, because that's working so well, right?
Yeah.
I think there's too much time that they get along too well up there. I like it when they argue, as long as they keep doing our work, the people's work. When the dust settles, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah. Anyway. It's this is really getting weird, and we'll again they're doing it right now live, and as we go through the day, we'll take some more.
The biggest issue is this is the only branch of government Republicans hold power to.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks to Georgia, elections have consequences.
What do Republicans do?
Yeah.
Republicans always eat themselves.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Well, again, remember on the contract with America, the new Gingrich days, back when we had a majority of 30 or 40 in the House or something, it was a whole different ball game. But this, with a majority of 3 or 4 is ridiculous. And again, we're screwed in the Senate, and we will be for years because they're 6-year terms, even though they overlap when they have elections. But anyway, so we'll keep you posted. Anyway, it's Only the Camera with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports rag. My computer just died. Get in there, you dirty rotten. There you go. I got it. I'm sorry, I got it. And Flounder, the mechanical mangler at the controls. 311. Got 311 already. This is we're going to talk about the rescue of that little girl. And this is a very bizarre story and an exciting, happy news story, which I'll get to in just a minute before we take our quick break here. And then a whole bunch of the Trevor Bauer thing and the NIL for high school students. I think it's a mistake. I don't like it. We're going the wrong way, but of course I'm wrong. It's National Boyfriend Day. Now, Flounder, has Miss Veronica mentioned anything about that to you?
Which day? I'm sorry, I was just reading an updated tweet.
All right, sir. This is anything you need to share, or was that a personal kind of a thing? Like, I love you, baby, I can't wait to see you.
No, nothing like that.
Okay. Yeah. Did Miss Veronica mention that this is National Boyfriend Day?
She did not.
Dumper. By the way, I had no idea till I saw it.
So.
Yeah, I mean, every day it's unbelievable. It's National Boyfriend Day. So what? Now all of a sudden you go, but you should call her saying, really, you didn't appreciate it. You didn't give me anything for National Boyfriend Day. I swear to God, you got to text her right now. Text her saying, gee, I'm a little disappointed, sweetie. I didn't get anything for National Boy. I swear to God, you got to do that and see what she says. Will you do that?
Sure.
Because it's I do that.
She has 9 more hours.
Yeah, she has time. How come I'm getting more of a kick out of your relationship than you apparently are? That can't be right. I should mind my own damn business. Oh, mercy. Anyway, it's 12. Yeah, it's 12 after 3 with a Giver, Pete, and Flounder, and we got a whole bunch of things. Also, I bought in. I have a new treat for Flounder. I bring in every day now, and Pete when he's here. Today, instead of bringing in the normal crackers of the cheese, whatever something, I started getting cookies. Because that's what I'm eating for my little snack before the show now. And I found some of these double fudge Keebler something or others. Oh, man, they're good. Hey, Flounder, is that your new favorite?
Yes, it is. Nice and sweet.
Well, then
perfect for the afternoon.
I'll start bringing those in instead of those crackers. All right, 313. And I mentioned when I was looking for the cookies, I also bought some double stuffed Oreos. They have pumpkin spice Oreos on the shelf right now. Pumpkin spice stuffed Oreos. I don't think so. 313 with a Kipper Pete.
I'm looking forward to you two sugar crashing around 5 o'clock.
Hell, I sugar crash every 20 minutes with a Kipper Pete Flounder on 106.3. Look out, there we go. It's Cubby and Karen. Are they going to... It was on this day in 1955 the Mickey Mouse Club premiered. Are they going to... Did you get the roll call?
I just got the theme song.
Oh, rats. The roll call, because that's had all the names on it. Cubby and Karen and...
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, crap. That was the fun part. I thought you could get that. Maybe it's not available. But it's... And at the end, it's like, I'm Walt. And the big 400-pound, 45-year-old guy with a mouse ears on his head looked like an idiot. And then Jimmy had to be... he ended up as the accordion-playing, dancing dandy man on the Lawrence Welk show, if I recall correctly. Anyway, 1955. Now, when they revived the show in the 90s, it launched the careers of Ryan Gosling, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Kerry Russell, and Britney Spears, among others. Holy cow. And of course, it had things like, I wrote some of these down too when I did it on my own thing there. It was like a variety show. It had cartoons and serials like Spin and Marty and the Mouseketeer Roll Call. And if we can find it, we'll play it for you later. But it's and back at the end, it was that big guy. I think his name was Walt. I can't remember the name. That can't be right. Anyway, a birthday list. Lena Headey is 50. Is Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones. Attractive woman, but man, what a nasty character she played. And Clive Owen's birthday today, 59 years old. In fact, I just ended up, I've got one more episode to watch. They repeated the Bill Clinton impeachment American Crime Story thing on TV. And I DVR'd them all. There's 4 episodes about the Monica Lewinsky case and all this stuff. And he played Bill Clinton. And he also, he's Clive Owens, 59. He also was in Sin City, Closer, Shoot 'Em Up, King Arthur, and in Duplicity with Julia Roberts. Did you see that movie? You got any of you guys see Duplicity?
No.
Oh, it's a good movie. You'd like it. You would definitely like it. Called
I've
Duplicity.
got a no Julia Roberts zone around my house. I can't do anything about it. It just
I did not. I had no idea.
I've never understood the appeal.
Well, she's got that mouthy whole thing going, the kind of that big, it's the Julia Roberts, kind of big mouthy laugh, when he snapped that box at her when she was the hooker in the hotel, what?
Mouthy whole.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, what do I know?
Stop talking.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Flounder, have you had a chance to text Miss Veronica about the National Boyfriend Day?
No, I have not.
All right, well, why don't you get on that, please, sir? Because I really want to make that part of the show before we get off today, Anyway, I want to read something. We have news. I swear to God, we'll do the news. We'll go back to the vote on what's her name. They're debating whether to oust Speaker McCarthy right now, and we'll go live to it. Flounder, you want to tell them what you just found? He's probably busy.
You mean
the way you just sent it to us.
So this was Aaron Rodgers discussing Monday Night Football and what's his name? Travis
Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs, big Taylor Swift new boyfriend.
Didn't have a crazy game, and Mr. Pfizer, we kind of shut him down a little bit. He didn't have crazy impact game. Obviously, he had some yards and stuff. But...
Mr. Pfizer. Anyway, we got a lot of sports coming up, including Trevor Bauer. I want to get Pete going here with all the stuff here in just a second. Let's see. Can I do one email thing? I've neglected this before, and I don't know why, because I'm an idiot. Flounder sent me this message from David and Marietta. The other day we were talking about AI stuff in our Skynet thing with Pete Davis, and we were mentioning the AI glasses, where you actually get a pair of sunglasses, and is it Facebook or Meta, whoever's coming out with Meta, and they're sunglasses, and in the frames they have the AI computer technology that will allow you to ask questions. If you're going on a tour of buildings, you can ask questions to your eyeglasses, and the eyeglasses will get the information of what you're looking at, stuff like that. You can communicate live while you're doing something live with your sunglasses, which is connected to the worldwide AI thing, whatever. I don't know how it works, but it's in there apparently somewhere. So we were talking about the AI glasses, and I thought, oh my God, I just don't want to be part of this world. I think it's just, I don't get any of this. Well, David said this: I'm listening at work, the AI glasses segment. I like y'all to have a cautious perspective about AI, but from a biased perspective as a half-blind listener, I do think that AI glasses could be a significant help to blind and low-vision people. As much as I don't want to be assimilated and slowly become a Borg, it would be great if I could look around and AI could describe something to me or signage I couldn't read at a distance. Just a different take I wanted to share. Have a great weekend, boys. Flounder my best to Veronica, David, and Marietta. That's a good point. And in fact, as you get older, I've got to go back to the eye doctor because I'm just beginning to have some, vision differences and stuff. Again, I had 20/20 vision, 20/10 vision after my surgery and stuff for years and years. Anyway, so things happen, and I can see that. But anyway, thank you, David, for writing, and I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge that earlier. We'll talk politics again here in a second. Another congressman, Republicans talking about ousting McCarthy or not. They're debating, and then they'll vote this afternoon. What a rescue. Holy cow, and I still don't get any of this about why they let the little 9-year-old girl go back on her bike by herself in a park. But anyway, we'll get to it. Milton, New York, upstate New York. Neighbors say it was right out of a movie as Charlotte Cena was rescued in a stunning scene last night. SWAT trucks, cop cars here in seconds, guns out. There was a rapid succession of at least 5 flashbangs at a guy named Michael who lives nearby to the guy Craig Ross Jr. accused of kidnapping 9-year-old Charlotte from a New York State park over the weekend. Law enforcement officers raided the trailer behind this guy's mother's property in Milton, New York. The guy who's talking here, Michael's wife, said she grabbed my kids, hid them in the basement as officers swarmed in. At first, I saw 2 cars pull up on my grass. I'm coming out to yell at them to get off my grass. The guy said, I see 2 cars pull up on my grass, and I'm coming out to yell at them, get the hell off my grass. And the police jump out with their tactical gear and vests. And just like that, as she snapped her fingers, 15 SWAT trucks and police cars are all over the house. At least 30 cops, full gear, guns, flashbangs right outside my bedroom. The concern was more, what if they runs into our yard, he takes my kids or us as hostages? I mean, it must have been a freaking nightmare. During the raid, I caught a glimpse of her face, and I said, that's her, she's in there. And then I saw her getting wheeled into the ambulance. I just wanted to hug her and hold her until her every mom comes to get her and tell her she's safe. She became like everyone's child. Everyone in the area loves her and wanted her to come home. And the police did too. You can see and hear them exhale. They were high-fiving with smiles. It was an amazing outcome. A few hours before the raid, a couple of idling police cars seemed somewhat out of place at the mouth of a street leading to a cul-de-sac in the neighborhood in Greenfield. Residents said this is upstate New York. 6 p.m. last night, Charlene and her oldest daughter, Bella, noticed the activity about 100 yards away from their home. They didn't know Charlotte was actually being held against her will by this guy. They saw an ambulance and a chopper overhead, then a convoy of law enforcement vehicles, state police, FBI rolling through the neighborhood, stopping nearby. And she says, well, then you just knew something. They found Charlotte all right, been missing since Saturday when he grabbed her from the state park. And apparently, the idiot went to the house of the little girl. He'd been stalking her. I guess he knew her and had been stalking her and spying on her. And he went to the little girl's house and dropped off a kidnapping note, ransom note, in their mailbox. So the police happen to be monitoring the mailbox, and here comes the kidnapper, guys. Get some pictures. All right, then they get the envelope, get some DNA, get his fingerprints. Then they find out who he is, and they go to his house. I mean, holy cow! I mean, great police work, but still, they staked out the house so they'll get a guy dropped off the ransom note. And if you saw his picture, Pete asked me this morning, I saw his picture. Holy God. Man.
he looks like a Dr. Seuss character gone bad.
Here's Matt. I'm sorry, Flounder. Can you get Matt Getz again? Here's speaking again.
Gentleman reserves his time.
Crap, he just stopped again. I'm sorry.
He's pretty much already spoke. He's just issuing time to people.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, so we'll get back to it as we break in. And again, the live vote is underway. The debate is underway right now on whether to get rid of Speaker McCarthy in the House. And after they debate, I don't know if they all are going to speak. I don't know. I don't know how long it'll go, but we'll keep you posted. And after they speak, they'll take a vote, and then we'll find out if we have to get a new speaker. And then what? I mean, here we go. Freaking Republicans, man. Well, I don't know. By the way, if you'd love to chime in on this, we do love phone calls, and it is an actual radio station. 404-741-1230, 741-1230, and we encourage our calls. And if you have a thing on Facebook or whatever, whatever we can do to get in contact with you and vice versa, we'd love to do. Okay, we'll do more of the Gets thing for you. Okay, we'll start 3:27, so we got a couple minutes to get going before we get going. Okay, Pete Davis. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. And Founder, I think we have some sound coming up here with Trevor Bauer. This is unbelievable. Trevor Bauer and the girl named Lindsay Hill have settled their lawsuits with no money exchanged between the two of them. However, the girl's insurance company is paying her $300,000, and now her attorney says, well, she's looking forward to helping others. Helping others? What, part of a blackmail, extortion, bribery scheme, you mean? Oh, my God.
She set him up.
Pete, what's this? I mean, she obviously set him up, and we're going to hear hear from him. Well, in fact, let's play that, Flounder, and then we'll talk more about it. Here's Trevor Bauer talking on his website, podcast, whatever, about what happened and the settlement stuff.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is 51 mil, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you 50,000, Lindsay replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place.
Boom.
Trevor Bauer, and he, well, Pete.
Well, first of all, don't we have a piece of sound of her there, Flounder?
No, but I can get it ready. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No. There's a piece of sound that you pulled for me especially today.
Oh, yes.
The old special piece of sound pulled today. I played it again. I missed it. Oh, yeah, Daddy. Okay, start. Go ahead.
He sent that to me earlier. I went, where did you get that? And he says he pulled it off YouTube. I said, oh, my God, it sounded like one of my exes.
I think that sounds like every ex.
My question, do they all sound like that when they talk about Daddy?
Well, speaking of exes, we're going to clear up a little something from yesterday in just a second.
No,
yes, we are.
My God, let it go.
It's 3:30 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and it's almost over. Stand by. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Yes, it's Queen. And on this day in 2011, new scientific research showed Queen's We Are the Champions was found to be the catchiest song ever written. Musicologist Dr. Alison Pauley of the University of London conducted research into what makes a song memorable and compiled a list of the 10 catchiest songs of all time. During the research, they discovered that sing-along songs contain 4 key elements: long and detailed musical phrases, multiple pitch changes in a song's hook, male vocalists, and higher male voices making a noticeable vocal effort. Wait a minute now. Multiple pitch changes, we can see it, I understand that. Male vocalists and higher male voices making a noticeable vocal effort. YMCA by the Village People, Sum 41's Fat Lip, and Europe's The Final Countdown were also in the list. So again, I'll play a little more of that Flounder, and we'll see what they're talking about here. Sing-along songs, 4 key elements. Long and detailed musical phrases. They just change pitch right there. Multiple pitch changes. They changed again. It's all males and higher male voices. Well, there you are. Oh, the world. I guess that makes sense. Was that you with the crickets?
That's Pete.
Pete. Well, I'm just trying to do a musical thing here. This guy, yeah, that'll be a good notice. Get my attention with the crickets. Oh, my God. That naughty little Neve Campbell's 50 today. I think I was hot for her because of her stupid hairstyle when she was that little girl back in that stupid series there. Neve Campbell's 50. She was Sydney in the Scream movies. Julia, that was on Party of Five. She had that hot haircut. Really very cute girl. And Leanne Harvey on House of Cards. And she was a dancer, and she's a ballet dancer, apparently, a professional dancer. And she had, the only thing she hated about it was that dancers have horrible feet, and she hated her feet.
She did the Menage a Trois with Matt Dillon and Denise.
Richards. Yeah, Charlie Sheen's there. Yeah. Well, I have a whole different attitude right now. I'm sorry. The OJ. No, everything's fine. 1995, the jury in the O.J. Simpson murder trial found O.J. innocent, of course. He didn't murder anybody. No, that wasn't O.J. It was good. I'll never forget the reaction in the newsroom and in the studio. Anyway, all right, we got a lot more about this Trevor Bauer thing. Again, Trevor Bauer and the girl named Lindsay Hill have settled their lawsuits. And it's kind of a complicated story. Pete, you want to just start going on? And again, you heard him a minute ago, and we'll play it again later this afternoon if you missed it, where he read some of her actual texts, including the one where she was talking with somebody about how Trevor Bauer's worth $51 million. What should I do? Make sure you basically set him up. She was talking about taking a punch. She likes to get roughed up. And the judge heard all this stuff and said, no, wait a minute. Now, you weren't abused or sexually molested or anything else. So, Pete, what happened to Trevor Bauer and what now? Goodness sakes.
I can say right now, Trevor Bauer's not the guy you'd want your daughter to bring home as, her boyfriend or future husband, something like that.
Yeah.
He's not a great citizen and all that stuff. But I tell you what, this gold digger targeted him from the beginning. I think he should sue the Dodgers. I think he should sue Major League Baseball. Because right now he's exiled to Japan. She destroyed his career. Baseball destroyed his career. I'm sorry. He's a piece of crap. He was targeted here.
Yeah. And again, the point is the point that everybody should realize. We're not talking about Bill Cosby. Trevor Bauer deliberately and openly was talking with women who like to get roughed up into hard sex, brutal, sometimes bloody, black and blue, hard sex. Domination stuff sex, where she wanted to be beat up, knock me out, make me black out. I mean, okay, I mean, so I can't imagine. I'm such
She was willing. Maybe she wasn't into it, but she was willing to do it to make money.
Yeah, she wrote that she would be happy to do it, and even the guy said, make sure you get plenty of evidence, collect the bag. You know what that means, so you can figure out what that means. But anyway, so she was into it for whatever reason. She was into it, and again, if you're into it, then you can't complain about being sexually abused or roughed up or raped or anything else. In fact, it's even worse because you were using it. And by the way, I just mentioned the birthday of that guy we mentioned with the Julia Roberts story. That's what the story was. It was a setup for a fake rape case. That's what the movie's about. It was and when prison and I'm telling you, boys, you love the movie. Deceit, whatever it was. Anyway, the Trevor Bauer, he was open about it. There were no secrets here. Yeah, now the issue of him and the teammates, I guess they didn't like it. But anyway, Pete, his career was over as soon as the charges came out.
He rubbed his teammates the wrong way ever since he came into the league. He did training differently. He spoke his mind, blah, blah, blah. Management was against him because he spoke his mind. Yeah. And the Dodgers players didn't want to play with him anymore, and I can understand that completely, especially if they had to deal with their wives. Why are you playing with that guy? Something like that. Yeah. But it's obvious from this is worse than we thought. I thought the whole thing was a setup from the beginning, and now we know it was. Yeah. And I'm glad that he stood up for it and didn't pay her a penny. I want to know why she got money from an insurance company, either his or hers.
Well, it doesn't say, and I don't understand. And when I read that, I said the same thing you did. I don't. Why would they be paying her and her attorney? Insurance company agreed to pay her $300,000, and her attorney, Brian Freeman, said she looks forward to helping others.
Well, when I heard that she drove from San Diego to his house in L.A. more than once for this to happen, and he had done it both times, right then and there, the alarm went off like, okay, she drove up there twice. I've lived in San Diego. I've driven L.A. It's at least 2 hours, if not more, to get to where he lives.
Yeah, and it's never an easy drive with the traffic. No. I mean, it's nice to see sometimes, but and the other thing is, he even showed video on his podcast or whatever website, whatever this was, of her taking a video selfie of him in his sleeping mask, passed out in bed with her, and she's showing her face and kind of moving her mouth around as though. I think that's when she tried to said that he had beat her up so bad he left her bloodied or something, but it showed she was fine. I mean, my God, it's like I can't believe it. And again, it's over. The allegations that he punched her and choked her, it's unbelievable. He said, for one thing, I never punched her. I mean, it was obviously kind of rough sex.
So how does baseball keep him from coming back? Do they have something in their morals clause that you can't have hard sex with a woman? Well, is that how they're going to do it?
Let's see, what's the official thing? I'm trying to find the official word here from Major League Baseball.
What are they going to call him? There's words for this. Where you
it's legalese to make
a pervert, basically.
Well, if you're against the traditions of the integrity of the game or something, bringing disrepute or ill repute or whatever the hell the phrase might be. We've had it all in our personal services contracts for years. And again, they basically. I can't know why I can find the damn story. The one line of what they actually did and for how long. The Dodgers opted to part ways with Bauer. Let's see. During the litigation process and the league investigation, Bauer was suspended for 322 games. Well, that's 2 years by Major League Baseball, although that was eventually reduced to 194 games by an arbitrator. The Dodgers opted to part ways with Bauer in January, saying that the former Cy Young pitcher would not be part of their organization moving forward, and that aligned with what the Los Angeles Times reported in 2021, Bauer was viewed as a pariah in the clubhouse. Some his Dodgers teammates at the time no longer wanted to play alongside him. He was unsigned, decided to pitch overseas in Japan. And that's where we stand now. But again, I guess he doesn't. I guess he's going to be fine. I don't know what they're paying him in Japan. Do you remember offhand, Pete? It's got to be like $10-20 million, isn't it?
I haven't followed it in a half a year, but it didn't start out well over there. He got demoted to minor leagues or something.
Well, he had problems, and I think part of I think it's like you mentioned, his routine. I mean, he's a different character. He's not one to follow all the rules and everything. So maybe that was one of the issues. I don't know, but anyway, I mean the whole thing is. And let's talk about the girl. Now, what should happen to her? Has she been charged with a crime? Isn't that extortion? I mean, there's evidence here. She says, she's asking one of her buddies, what should I do? And he says, go for the money, bitch. You better secure the bag. She's net worth is $51 million. Oh, my God. I mean, this is unbelievable.
I don't know what they did. It's California, so who knows what they're going to do. They'll let her go or whatever. I mean, but basically it should be like a tag that she has to carry around with her if anyone tries to date her.
Well, if a guy has to, if a guy's convicted, he could have been convicted of rape and been a lifelong guy with a forehead mark on the A. What do you call it? A sex offender.
Scarlet.
He could have been labeled a sex offender. Have to move into a neighborhood and tell him you're a sex offender and your freaking door at Halloween. So why shouldn't she do it? I am a sex offending extortionist who likes to be roughed up and is willing to femp that for money. Your friend Lydia or Lindsay, whatever the hell.
That's frightening. You know why we were going to use that? We're going to use it to start out the bad dad joke segment.
Now you're talking. Oh, by the way, I was thinking about something. Pete's got a story about chicks in the supermarket, which I don't think would fit in with here, but we'll do it later because I do have a couple of chick things. It's National.
It's a nicer story.
Well, that's a happy story. It is a National Boyfriend Day, and I really would like Flounder to text his girlfriend, Miss Veronica, and say I'm kind of disappointed you didn't give me anything for National Boyfriend. Haven't recognized National Boyfriend Day.
Maybe she
just
hasn't
to see
given
what
it
she
to
says.
him yet.
Well, it's a be a thing. It's a talk show thing. He's part of he's our team. This is
maybe
we're
it's
part of the
something
thing.
you don't give during the day.
I know. I'm having more fun than he is. 3:40.
Sorry, Getz was talking, so I don't even know what you two were talking about.
Oh, well, you should have interrupted me. Don't let me talk, but now we got to go back to him.
Show.
Oh my God! Well, no. When he comes on again, unless it's just to appoint the next speaker.
That's kind of that's what I'm keeping my eye on.
Yeah. Okay. Now you want to? In fact, by the way, I want to talk about this high school thing for NIL. I think it's a horrible mistake. First, Flounder, let's take 10 seconds or so of this lady, see what's going on
the
here.
Responsibility Act, which was one of the largest enacted cuts with enforceable spending caps in American history, and H.R. 2, the most conservative southern border security bill in history. All of this while
She's
fully
Republican,
funding our military
Congress,
and our
Oklahoma.
nation's veterans. Let me be abundantly clear.
Stephanie Bice.
Attempting to remove Speaker McCarthy will put this House in a stalemate and paralyze our ability to fight for our constituents and instead create a fight amongst one another.
Boom. That's what's going on right now. And again, we'll go back and forth through the day. They're debating whether or not to get rid of McCarthy as Speaker, and then they'll vote after the debate's over. Don't know when that'll happen. 4:45 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. National Boyfriend Day. Look at it. There we go. All right, look out there. It's only the Kimmer. I'm psychedelic or psycho, either way is fine. 350, 10 before 4 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder with Iron Butterfly. Hey, we'll play a little music. So, Inagata Davida. Inagata Davida means that I love you? Is that what that's saying?
I believe you've told this story before.
I can't remember.
In the Garden of Eden is what he's trying to say, but he's too drunk.
Ah. Is that a true story?
Yep.
Are you telling me that Inagata Davida is actually him trying to say in the Garden of Eden, but he's so drunk he can't say it, and that's the name of the song?
Yes.
So all my life, since oh my God. Thank you. Thank God I'm getting old enough that I didn't remember if you ever told me that story, because I do not remember that story. If you told me that in the Garden of Eden, Inagata Davida, my Lord.
Hey, don't you like Elvis Costello, don't you?
I like him as a guy and a character and a funny guy. Yes, I do. I saw him. I remember being a big fan when he was on 30 Rock, cooperating with a goofy skit one time. I thought he was a pretty cool guy.
He's going to be next door,
really?
January 30th.
Oh, I'll be damned. So he's still on the way. He's got to be 70.
No, he's not 70.
How old is Elvis Costello? Well, all right, 61. Iron Butterfly on this day in 2002, which was why Flounder was playing that. The original guitarist, vocalist from American psychedelic rock band Iron Butterfly, Daryl DeLoach, died of liver cancer at the age of 56. All right, sir. And quick birthday of note here. Tommy Lee from Motley Crue is 61 today. See, he's 61. Elvis Costello's got to be up there.
I thought he was 61. Then we just
I was a guess. I came right out of my.
Guess?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Let me ask. How old is Elvis Costello? I'm going to ask Siri.
Siri will tell you.
Siri says. Well, she's taking her sweet time here.
All right, we'll get to it. 3:52. We have plenty of time.
She is slow.
We have till.
He is 69 years old.
69. All right, so there you are. A year away from 70, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Well, he's not 70.
Well, my God. You know, there's an over/under. I would have won Jeopardy, or whatever the hell one is that has the number. Price is Right. It's a difference. Sorry.
Can I tell my story now?
No. Well, yes, you can. No, I was going to do a history thing, and now I'm going to give that time up because I want to have you tell your story.
Then you can do the history thing right after.
No, I'm going to do it later, the next break.
Okay.
All right.
So I drove home last night, and I stopped by the supermarket on the way home, and I'm getting out of the car in the parking lot, and this nice couple gets out an SUV. Now, they looked like they were maybe college freshmen, really young.
Young couple, okay.
But they were a couple, and they were both skinny. I mean, it was like Olive Oil and Olive Oil Senior. You know, it was like two skinny people.
Yeah, that's not good.
And so I go in the store, and I'm going around, and I finally start heading back over to the corner because I need to go to the restroom because it was a long drive, right? Mm-hmm. And I see this guy standing behind by himself behind a display, which is kind of weird over there by the restroom. I go, why is he hiding behind the display? It's kind of bizarre. And I turned the corner and I saw him and he saw me, and I realized that he was going through the first steps of what every guy has to
I know
battle
exactly where you're going
in
here.
his life. He's holding not only her handbag, but her pink handbag while she's going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to hide so no one can see him. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I said, this is just one of a lot of...
Kid, you got a long way to go, my friend. You ain't seen nothing yet.
These are the beginning of a lot of indignities. You're going to have to put your foot down unless this will continue the rest of your life.
Especially in front of her friends, too. Wait do you get one of those? One of those days.
It was the biggest Barbie pink handbag you've ever
Yes. In fact, there's one of my favorite country songs. I have it on my Music Magic stick. In fact, I asked Flounder to put some more music on there today from my new number one hit group, Fleetwood Mac, for some reason. Well, for good reason, because of what they're saying. Anyway, and there's a country song. The slogan is, I'm still a guy. It says, I'll walk your sissy dog. I'll hold your hand in the car. I'll write your love songs, and I'll hold your purse at the mall. But remember, I'm still a guy. And I forgot who sang it. It's very famous. It's one of my favorites.
You know the great thing about holding her hand when you're out in public?
Yeah.
They think it's romantic. Yeah. And you're just keeping them in sight so they can't go off and buy something?
Yeah, exactly. Not that it works. Anyway.
Did you ever hold the purse?
All the time.
I always refused.
Oh, no.
I said, take it with you. I'm not sitting here holding your purse.
I would sit there. I would sit there. In fact, I was a total lackey when it came to anything she wanted to do, shopping, or buying stuff.
The funny thing is today, women aren't going to bring bags because they'll probably get stolen or robbed.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere. They don't bring stuff into a store.
Or you put it under your coat.
Yeah, or to where you can actually hold it. Or
yeah.
because
is that your excuse that you tell her not to bring it so you don't have to hold it?
Yeah, there you go. I don't have a credit card with me. 355.
All of a sudden they got alligator arms with the check comes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. You want to? You get this one and I'll. No, it's all good. 356 for the kid. By the way, we're going to talk some more about this because I definitely want to clear up a little thing. Now you got the morning show guys calling us the gay couple in the afternoon. And it was because of this whole ex-final wife thing, but we'll clue that up later, a little bit later on. I do want to start the discussion at least, and Pete, see what you think about this, and also Flounder too, although I'm sure I'm probably wrong, but I think this is really a bad idea. The Georgia High School Association has now voted to allow athletes from any sport to earn money for their name, image, and likeness. NIL, name, image, and likeness, just like the big boys do in college and of course, professional deals with the pros. And they can earn money for their name, image, and likeness without losing amateur status. The head guy says, like it or not, Georgia's faced up and said we need to get in front of this thing. The deals cannot be based on, I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Quote, the deals cannot be based on athletic performance or achievement, or used as incentive to play at a specific school or be provided by a school or its representatives. Those are the two that are most important, and you can't just start buying players to come to your school from another school. But
they've already made that ridiculous because they already do that.
Of course they're doing it. And the other thing is, what do you mean it can't be based on athletic performance?
I know.
You mean to tell me that the star quarterback's not going to make more than the pulling guard? I mean, come on. It's just
all
stupid.
All it takes is one lawsuit, and that'll fold. That law has no chance.
Now, here's the thing, though, that makes me at least a little more in the open, feel it's maybe a little bit more in the open. Quote, according to this guy here, co-chairman of the something or other, quote, in my opinion, it is kind of putting everything off on you guys. If you want to do this as parents and you want to do this for your child, here's the rules. So he's saying, there's nothing we can do because the whole country's doing it, but you have to be the guardians, which I kind of like. Just saying, if you parents are in charge of your kids, and if you don't want them in high school to be doing this stuff, then you can say no. The deals would only cover the player. School names, logos, gear, facilities, trademarks would not be allowed to be used, so you can't use your school name or logos. Banned are activities that violate school policy like tobacco or booze. But here you go. Professor at Emory Business School says, I've been around sports long enough to also anticipate the deals will be bigger than I think they should be nationally or rationally. It'll have an immediate impact on Carrollton High School star quarterback Juju Lewis. He's a sophomore already committed to the University of Southern California. He's got a national brand. He's going to attract major companies. Georgia's one of 30 states now allowing name, image, and likeness for students, not just players, but athletes from any sport. And I wonder if that includes the debate team or the history club. It says athletes from sports.
Kids have been moving here from California to go to high school and play football here for years.
Yeah, that's right. Well, remember, what was it? Our southern neighbors, the Valdosta. Valdosta had some of the greatest football players for years over the last several decades, not mentioned anymore, but they were known for that.
we used to laugh when the Patriots played at the old Foxborough Stadium. Me and Miller Pope used to laugh that Valdosta had a bigger stadium.
Yeah, right. Better facilities. Coming up at 4 o'clock with the Kim Repeat and Flounder. Oh, and they got the new tranny event coming. Oh, whoops-a-daisy. It could be some bad news. Coming up, stand by 4 o'clock. I used to like Drive. What's this song? Is this Let's Go?
Just what I needed.
Just what I needed? Ah.
Just what you needed. One of those.
That's what I did need. By the way, he's from Atlanta.
Who?
Well, I'm about to tell you. I remember that. I've heard this song before. Drive was, I enjoyed it. Anyway, on this day in 2000, the Cars singer and bass player Benjamin Orr died of cancer at home in Atlanta. He was 53. He sang the lead vocals here, Just What I Needed, and Let's Go and Drive. And from Atlanta, Benjamin Orr, Cars. Okay. Let's see. Birthdays include Jack Wagner. 64 today. Jack Wagner was the secret agent Frisco Jones on General Hospital, and Dr. Peter Burns on Melrose Place. He had a hit song, All I Need. Remember that? That was a pretty good song, actually. It was kind of, weepy, wangy, pansy man song. Instead of this men real song, like real men.
You want me to put that one on your music stick?
I'm not a man. I know I'm not a man. Did you have a chance to do anything of the
You'll have it before show end.
Okay. If you can't even get to it today because you got stuff to do. But anyway, it's helping me out. But it's actually helped me out. In fact, it's kind of a weird story. We'll get to it later. First, a history note. This was the day 1992. Sinbad O'Connor... Okay, Sinead. Tore up a picture of Pope John Paul II on Saturday Night Live while saying, "Fight the real enemy." NBC got more than 1,000 calls saying, "Excuse me," you ripped up a picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live. Well, it's a comedy show. Ironically, Sinbad O'Connor had canceled a previously scheduled appearance on SNL because she found the comedy, we mentioned this before, Andrew Dice Clay, offensive. Then 2 weeks later, she was booed off the stage during a Bob Dylan tribute at Madison Square Garden. So, I don't know. Is she still even around? Didn't she just die? Didn't we have a... Well,
yeah,
she was in the
just
news.
Passed away.
Didn't she just die?
Yeah, and all the popes that she went after the good one.
Yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, here's the number if you'd like to call us. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on the radio here. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. I mentioned, and by the way, get some news going on here. In fact, we're going to hear from the Bill Maher show. Even he is saying, okay, we got to make a decision. Also, Hunter Biden went to court to plead today. We'll hear from Representative Cuellar, who got carjacked. And by the way, he knew when the odds were against him. Also, the talking points of the Mr. Nazi man hating Republicans after he got caught pulling the alarm. We'll get to all that stuff coming up here in a second. I mentioned that I was in the store today buying stuff. We have a new snack now for our pre-show snack with bring for the Flounder every day. And I saw Oreo pumpkin spice flavored Oreo cookies. I don't think so. But let me ask you this. Is it too early for Halloween?
No.
Decorations and stuff. Here we go, right? Yeah. Now, do you decorate? You're not going to get any trick-or-treaters up in the mountains of Macon, are you there, Peter?
No, and I understand that people go into the towns to do it because the kids can't go around. But everybody's decorating out here, yeah.
Well, that's good.
I'm expecting to see some covens dancing around bonfires, tell you the truth.
Well, you got the right location for it. It's 407 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. And here we go. We talk about trannies and gender and everything. It's so upside down in this world and in this country in particular. Well, World Aquatics has a new open category for transgender athletes at this week's World Cup swimming event in Berlin. The World Aquatics had a female category promised to stage the pioneering pilot project to promote unwavering commitment to inclusivity, welcoming swimmers of all sex and gender identities. World Aquatics having an open category for the World Cup in Berlin, 50-meter and 100-meter races, alongside the men's and women's competition, been put on hold because the excuse me. After the World Aquatics decision to bar trannies from the elite female competitions if they had undergone male puberty, after research showed that tranny women retain significant advantage over female swimmers, men who pretend to be women, even after reducing testosterone levels. It didn't make any difference. They're still bigger and stronger than their actual female counterparts. So when that decision came out, the World Aquatics said, okay, tell you what, let's have a third category. What the hell? After Leah Thomas, who was a piece of crap swimmer in college and then became a girl, all of a sudden she won the NCAA title, which is a freaking disgrace and horrible. And so the Major Aquatics said, people, I'll tell you what, let's have a third category. This is now an open category for transgender athletes at the World Cup in Berlin. And so far they've had Zero people. Oh, God.
And they've exposed themselves for the narcissistic, cowardly bullies they are. They can't win in their own organization, so they jump into another one where they know the people are smaller and weaker, and they can easily dominate them. They're nothing but narcissistic, bully cowards.
I just don't get why more actual women and girls and mothers haven't turned against these people, saying stop it.
Because they are cowards as well, and they're going to.
I mean, what the hell happened?
Their daughter's lives.
Your mother wouldn't put up with this.
No, because they had balls back then. They don't even. They're so browbeat by the media that they're afraid of being called a name. And they're so afraid of that name, they won't do anything, even when they watch their daughters' and granddaughters' lives be ruined because of this. It's going on in Maine. There's a place called the Waldorf School up there, an elite private outfit up there, is allowing a mentally ill boy to pose as a girl. He's dominating the races up there. He came in 172 out of 175 in the other boys category. So the narcissist grew a ponytail, now claims he's a girl, and he's now 4th in the girls' rankings after being 172nd with the boys.
I don't get why they just don't turn their back on him and say we're not doing it. I mean, really, it's just not fair. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not moral. It's not correct. It's not gentlemanly. I mean, it's not American. It's not anything. It's kowtowing to someone's personal mental problem. And again, we all the tranny's threatened to kill me. I've got a death threat against me from a tranny who says I hate humanity or something, which is a bunch of crap. I don't care if you're a tranny. God bless you. I hope you. I'm sorry you're a tranny. If you have to live your life for thinking you're somebody else, it would be horrible. I would hate it. I feel sorry for you. I feel badly for you, and I feel bad that you have to go through this. God forbid that it was me or my daughters or sons or anybody. I mean, really, I feel terrible about it. But that doesn't mean that you can just go and change everything about the world and about other children and start the whole movement now to have the gender mutilation. My God, man, and it's starting in grade school and junior high schools with races and trannies in their own bathrooms. Oh God, I don't even know where to start.
And what kills me is the men are standing up and saying something about it, but it doesn't affect us. This affects the girls that grow up to be women who can't get scholarships because they have their self-esteem. I thought we were all concerned about self-esteem of the kids. Well, you're crushing the girls' self-esteem. It's going to take actual women to stand up and say enough is enough, and where are the women?
And if you're a young, think about this. If you're, 13 or 10, but you're 13, 14, 15, high school girl, junior high school girl, and you show up for your track meet and there's a guy running against you, or there's going to be a guy running against you. Just the very idea changes everything about your attitude, your preparation, your mental acuity. Have you ever been under certain kinds of pressure when you're trying to do something that means everything to you on a race or a competition, and all of a sudden something really weird, different gets thrown into the mix? It's just not right. It's not part of the competition. It's not how you grow and learn to compete and accept wins and losses and defeat and victory. It's just...
And here we are, use logic by saying, well, create a third category and you can compete against each other since there's supposedly so many of you and not one has signed up. That totally exposes their whole plan on this, their whole gimmick, their whole scheme.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's 4:13 already. The Kimber, Pete, and Flounder coming up. The Hunter Biden's in court. Trump's in court. Cuellar got carjacked. The slime bag black congressman who got caught pulling the fire alarm is now making more stupid things, including calling people Nazis. And the Navy SEALs are going to start testing for PEDs. Well, what do they want? Supermen. What do you expect's going to happen? 4:3. And by the way, the camo and the Marines, an update with the Kimber, Pete, and Flounder. 4:13. Look out. 4:18 with a Trevor, Pete and Flounder. And they're voting on McCarthy as Speaker, yes or no. It's 84-85, yay, nay. So keep you posted. And then what? I don't know. Anyway. Oh. It didn't sound like Tom Jones till just then. This is Tom Jones, and it was on this day, 1960. Is that? No, God, I can't read that damn thing on my thing. 1999, Tom Jones went to number 1 in the album of the UK chart with Reload, making Tom Jones the oldest artist to score a British number 1 album with new stuff. It featured the collaboration with Moose T. Sex Bomb, which reached number 3 on the singles chart and later was used in an episode of The Simpsons. Moose T. Sex Bomb. All right, sir? Tom Jones. By the way, I once had a problem. I can't believe I just remembered this. I couldn't stop singing Green, Green Grass of Home. So I went to the doctor and he said, he said, I think you got Tom Jones disease. I said, wow, is that common? He said, well, it's not unusual. Our birthday... See, I went to the doctor. I said, is it common? And he said, it's not unusual. I was wondering if it was common disease.
Is that a dad joke?
No, God, no. The disgusting and hideous, phony, fake, anti-American slimeball Al Sharpton, minister my butt, 69 today. Yeah, so am I, and so is Pete. How about that? Of course, I am the most dangerous minister in America. And on this day, in so-called, by the way, it's not just me. I was given that title. 1982, on this very day, a guy from Detroit named Scott Weiland. Isn't there a singer named Scott Weiland?
Yeah.
Stone Ponies or something, right?
No, that was Scott Weiland for Stone Temple Pilots.
Weiland,
drug overdose.
Okay. 1982, a Detroit guy named Scott Weiland ran the Detroit Marathon in 4 hours, 7 minutes, and 54 seconds, which seems like a long time, because he ran it backwards. And by the way, for the record, my first marathon that I ran with Mackie Shilstone, the trainer from New Orleans, who was he trained Ozzie Smith, he trained the St. Louis Blues hockey team, he trained the San Francisco Giants baseball team. He trained Michael Spinks when he became heavyweight champion of the world. The trainer of Michael Spinks champion was Mackie Shilstone, and I was his first training victim. I'm just saying. Okay, so anyway, he trained me to run our first marathon on 6 days' notice, and part of it we ran backwards because it helps you unrelease it, because it was new to me. I'd only run 3-4 miles in my life on a daily basis, and we ran 26 miles without stopping, and a couple of times we turned around to run backwards, and he stayed with me the whole time when my knees went and my ligaments popped, and I had to stiff leg one arm. I ran one-legged for 2.5 hours and finished marathon in a little over 4 hours and hurt forever. Anyway,
uphill both ways. Yeah.
It was not uphill both ways. It was over the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. In fact, it was the most boring run in the history of my life. 421 with the Trevor, Pete and Flounder. Donald Trump goes back. He's back into court again today. And right before he went in, he said, this trial's a scam. He said, nobody got hurt. We did these loans. They all got their money back. Nobody hurt. There's no victim. It's a scam. It's a joke. They're out to get me. And he said, he said the Attorney General's a fraud. She's a fake. And of course, they've been playing sound bites on Fox all over the place of her campaign theme. Only one theme was to get Donald Trump. And so he's back in court doing that again today. Also, Hunter Biden went into court today, and he pleaded not guilty in Wilmington, Delaware. Let's see. If he gets convicted on his charge with false statements in the purchase of a firearm and a federal licensed dealer and possession of a firearm, therefore unlawfully, he could get 25 years in prison and a maximum fine of $250,000 on each count, plus supervised release when he gets out. The judge laid out the conditions. Hunter Biden, 1, has to look for a job. If he plans to leave the country, he's got to tell everybody. He cannot possess a firearm. He cannot drink He cannot do drugs. He passed a drug test, and he has to get drug tested randomly and regularly and take part in a substance abuse counseling program. So he's got to do all that. And then if they don't give him something, I mean, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the U.S. Attorney and the prosecutors in the office of the Delaware U.S. Attorney's Office and the Federal Gestapo of Investigation under the leadership of the disgraced Atlanta attorney, Christopher the Cossack Ray, suspected Russian double agent, that after the incredible, how they were able to solve this case is beyond me. I mean, somehow, they were able to match a document with his signature to another document and some video and some other documents and video, and they linked him to the, oh my God, and they did it in less than 6 years. It only took them 5 years to determine that they might have a case against a oh my goodness. It would have taken me probably 7, 8, 9 years if I were in charge of the investigation. Guess probably, wouldn't you think? I mean, the FGI did it in oh my God, 5 years. That's incredible. Wow. Well, I'm glad that's over. What are you brushing your teeth with electric lawn for a toothbrush?
It's supposed to be applause.
Oh.
It's not really applause.
Sorry. Have you got your own control up there now or something?
No, I got a little handheld thing up here. It's called Instant Audience.
Yeah, big time Charlie here, folks. That's how you hear. You don't get this everywhere. That's a new digital radio.
By the way, crickets work just fine.
Yes, the crickets are fine. 324. By the way, let's do a little Bill Maher. Once again, Bill Maher, he's done it again, and thank God, and God bless him, because he still hates Trump. He still thinks Trump should be in prison. He still literally has not changed his mind about that. But he's making more and more sense again, and it's a lot. These longtime apologists in the Democrat Party of guys like Bill Maher are finally seeing the light, and once again, he is calling out. If you haven't heard the name he puts now with President Showers with daughter, you'll like it. Here we go. The Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'm
sorry.
Did somebody tell Flounder?
Well, no, he
had it all ready in the wrong pot.
Oh, that's
Someone has to convince President Biden that if he runs again, he's going to turn the country back over to Trump and go down in history as Ruth Bader Biden. The person who doesn't know when to quit and so does great damage to their party and their country. Because while he can do the job, what he can't do is run for it. Our campaign season is long. To those who say he beat Trump once, he'll do it again, I say things change. They always do. The parade moves on. 2024 is not 2020 in so many key ways, including, yes, Biden being 4 years older.
Yeah, but again, Ruth Bader Biden. And in case you aren't familiar with it, Ruth Bader Ginsburg had cancer. And she had cancer when Barack Hussein Puditat, the divider-in-chief, knew it. And he suggested to her that maybe she should step down while they have control of the White House and the Congress and everything so that they can nominate someone to take her place and keep the liberals on the court. She said, no, I'll stay. I'm good. It's like Dianne Feinstein. Oh, by the way, did you hear? I was going through in the news, the last newscast, somebody said, well, when Dianne Feinstein surprisingly passed away. Surprisingly? She's been comatose in a wheelchair for, she's 90.
And then Kamala snickered.
Yeah, Kamala said unexpectedly.
Unexpected,
and snickered.
My God. Anyway, so Ruth Bader Ginsburg, if she had given up her seat, there would have been another liberal on the Supreme Court. Instead, she hanged onto it.
Good. And
we got Amy Coney Barrett. Oh, by the way, they're coming after her. Have you seen that? Oh, my God. It's all over social media all of a sudden. Amy Coney, is it Comey or Coney? Amy Coney Barrett, I think, has been linked with a group of well-known religious people, and they're sort of anti-abortion and anti-stupidness and things like that. So, of course, if you're linked with a religious group, therefore you're a target. And all of a sudden now, the New York Times did a story about her years ago, and now they're bringing it back again. If you look on Twitter and X, whatever it is, and now Amy Coney Barrett is now getting blasted for being linked to the latest anti-gender. My God, they just don't stop. 428. Okay. And these phonies. Representative Henry Cuellar from Texas got carjacked at gunpoint. Do we have a soundbite, Flounder? Let's see, if we have Representative Cuellar soundbite, he talked to the media after he got carjacked last night in the trendy Navy Yard neighborhood where a lot of them stay when they're near Congress, when they're out away from their homes in their home states. Do we have Cuellar available?
Can you tell us what happened and how you found out?
Yeah, I was just coming into my place. 3 guys came out of nowhere and they pointed guns at me. I do have a black belt, but I recognize when you got three guns. I looked at one with a gun, another with a gun, at the one behind me. So they said they wanted my car. I said, sure, you got to keep calm under those situations. And then they took off.
Yeah, well, again, with 3 guns, of course, the only way to take care of that is to make sure you have a loaded pistol cocked in your hand when you approach your car. I mean, you know. But here's
it's like we should all just get used to the fact. Well, this is the way of life.
Yeah, I gave it to him. I said, "Yeah, here you go, no problem." It's just, and here's some of the reaction, by the way. One reactor: end wokeness. In the past 24 hours, a liberal gay reporter was shot and killed at his home in Philly. A far-left activist was stabbed to death by a deranged stranger in Brooklyn. Democrat Congressman Henry Cuellar was carjacked at gunpoint by 3 black men. But the crime wave is not real. Oh, really? Is not real. Texas Congressman Cuellar carjacked in Washington. Good morning. Waking up to a Pentagon official being arrested for running a pit bull fighting ring in 20 years. Cuellar being carjacked and a gang of migrants kidnapping 3 girls in Minnesota, raping an 11-year-old. What the hell is going on? We are in danger. Biden's new lawless America. People think it can't happen to their home because they're not near the border. Think again. Nightmare on Elm Street and every other street in America. What took them so long to we were officially a third world country? I mean, and the Democrats are saying, you hear one after another, well, the crime, this crime wave is really overreported. It's the Republicans trying to make, oh my God. I mean, when are they going to see the light? And this is not the first time. Remember, was it Angie Craig from Minnesota in February assaulted in the elevator of her own D.C. apartment building by a homeless guy with a long rap sheet? And by the way, I heard the guys today, in fact, mentioning that the average murderer has been arrested before he got caught for murder 66 times. 4:30. We'll be back. Hour 35 of the Kimmer, Pete, and Floundy. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Meow, meow.
Was on this day in 1991. Texas Governor Ann Richards. God, remember her. What a pistol. She proclaimed October 3rd Stevie Ray Vaughan Day. An annual motorcycle ride and concert in Central Texas benefits the Stevie Ray Vaughan Memorial Scholarship Fund. Wait for the Stevie Ray. Here we go. Definitely had a sound. At our birthday list today includes Lindsey Buckingham, formerly of Fleetwood Mac, 74 years old today. Fleetwood Mac, my new favorite group. I've got a thing, and in fact, it explains a whole lot about my new attitude and the whole, Pete, nobody has to worry anymore. Coming up, we'll talk about it later anyway. Quick historical note here. 1964, at the Anchor Bar in Buffalo, New York, somebody deep-fried chicken wings coated in vinegar-based cayenne pepper hot sauce and butter, and voila, buffalo wings from Buffalo, New York. And I guess that's a true story. That's where they first came from. By the way, see, I'm confused. When somebody wants to order wings, if you tell me to ask me if I'd like some wings, if you're talking about the mini drumsticks, the answer is yes. If you're talking about the actual wings, the answer is no. I mean, can you eat the actual wing, the crooked little leggy left? There's nothing there. You got to dig to crab. It's worse than crawfish. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
You're wrong, because nothing is worse than crawfish.
Well, I don't know about that. If you have really cold Dixie beer and a bucket of them and they're real spicy, you can do it, but they're a pain in the ass to get to.
Let's go down and get in that creek and take out the insects that look like roaches and bite their heads off and suck their gizzards.
No, plus. Anyway, now what? But do you eat the chicken, the wings?
I'll eat both, but like you, I agree. I want the leg. I prefer the leg
better.
The drumstick.
There's more meat.
Yeah. Well, anyway, just for the record. But, by the way, two things. We have, folks know where it's 4:37. We have news. We got Holy Crap of Sports. We got a comedy thing coming up. I swear. We got Bowman talking about the thing. Oh, God. All right. What? I forgot to get to something here. What's up, Flounder? We're coming up with.
You want to do a comedy bit here?
Sure, let's do a comedy bit.
This is a little old school Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Speaking of words, I do have a few new redneck words for you. First one, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, a lot of people here this evening. It's kind of a gift. They come to me in my sleep and I write them down. Brand new one, aorta. Aorta cut that grass down by the ball field so the kids don't get hurt. It's just not the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. Initiate. My wife ate 2 hamburgers. Initiate a bag of potato chips. And last but not least, witchy did you? Oh, you didn't bring your truck with you, did you?
Jeff Foxworthy. And I guess he's still got, he could do that forever as long as, he feels like it, I guess. Good for him. By the way, 2 quick things. We have actual news things I'll get to in a second. But just, did you have anything on your phone? There was supposed to be a big phone alarm today at 20 after 2.
No, it's tomorrow, 10/4.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, I thought it was today.
October 4th.
Oh, well, I'm an idiot.
So they say...
Wednesday, yeah.
Let your battery die down and then put it in the microwave.
What?
Okay. So I should let the battery die down.
Because then you can't power it on. They can't do anything if it doesn't have any power.
Oh, now should we fight? Okay, tell me about this. What's the it's in a test alert. FCC send a message in English or Spanish, depending on your phone language settings. Turned on. Let's see. Have the phones turned on. A wide range of cell towers. It's what are they trying to get on this thing here? A national alert test, I guess. Conspiracy claims it's connected to COVID vaccines. Social media people urging you to shut your phones off the day of the test, claiming your signal will activate.
Yeah, they're saying some people think that tomorrow This test is going to activate whoever got the booster.
Nanoparticles. Microbiologist and infectious disease specialist reject as laughable. The auto signal feed alert is the same as been used since 1963 with the emergency broadcast system. Let's see. State and local agencies of the WEA, wireless emergency thing, customers. So anyway, so they're going to do it tomorrow. Oh, I just got a text message. I wonder what that is. Oh, by the way, I just got a message. Speaking of, oh, God. Stinking, Walgate. I don't want to complain about that because they tell me when my pills are due. Look what I just got. Oh, crap, I got the wrong one. Sorry, I swear to God I get it. Now, speaking of phones, well, now, wait a minute. Where the hell did it go? I just got it.
Where are we going
here it
with
is.
this?
Here it is. I just got a letter that says, "Hi, it's AT&T. Great news. You've paid off your phone. If you're interested in learning about our upgrade offer on the new iPhone, reply yes to receive details." Now, is this legit? And they're trying to get me into a new
Probably
thing,
what it means is that you're up for a new deal. They want you to come in and sign another contract, probably.
Now, but the one they're talking about, that's the one that doesn't work and it gets too hot. You can't even pick it up, right? Is that the new one? It's got all kinds of problems.
If the newest one is the 15.
The
I
i15,
believe.
yeah. So, but that's what they're. That's what
if that works fine, don't worry. I mean, if that works,
well, it doesn't really. I've got issues with it. And I think it's just. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I don't know how to. I don't know whether. I don't know. I just don't know.
You need the titanium one because yours looks like you've been playing soccer with it.
Well, it's battered pretty bad. Well, anyway, when you do what I do. A quick thing, the promises have been fulfilled. The case is solved. With a new 4,000 square foot facility, Shaq's Shop will open October 10th, 2 years after the NBA legend gave his word that the Krispy Kreme will come back to beloved Midtown donut shop location. We made a promise to the Ponce community in all of Atlanta. We're delivering on it, said the global chief. They had to shut it down in February after it caught fire. Midtown location, Shaquille O'Neal pledged to he's one of the owners, pledged to rebuild it, and so it's going to be open on the 10th of October. So that's good news. Anyway, excellent. Okay, Ducky, what's that?
Hey, by the way, while Krispy Kreme is good to their word, McDonald's is not.
What happened?
They told us last year they were retiring the McRib.
Yeah. Oh, they brought it back?
It's back.
You know, I used to like that. I took the pickles off. I hate the.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I used to like it. Well, maybe it was just
what it is? It's spam. It's spam
sauce,
with barbecue sauce.
I like spam. I used to make spam sandwiches. In fact, I'm going to go buy some spam tonight on the way home. Here's what I do. I'd make basically a grilled cheese sandwich with spam in it. A grilled cheese, toasted cheese, grilled cheese sandwich, and but I would also fry the spam, and I would squeeze out most of the fat. I mean, when I got done frying it, I would squeeze it so all the fat wasn't all in there, because I couldn't take my stomach couldn't take that. But still, I like spam and cheese, toasted cheese, grilled cheese, spam and cheese. Absolutely,
spam, egg and spam.
You can put spam with anything. You can make a salad. You can make one of my Kimmer special salads, chunked up cheddar cheese and Havarti chunks of Havarti cheese. Maybe a little Swiss strips or something, and some good the real iceberg lettuce, not that stupid girl dark green, bitter rabbit food freaking teasing lettuce. Good iceberg lettuce and some blue cheese and put a lot of that chunks of spam in. Maybe a little teeny little corn cob thing. Those little like 1-inch corn cob things. I love those things in the salad. Oh, anyway. All right. Let's see, 4:43. Got a blue the whole segment. I'm so sorry. Did you hear about the New York City college girl student, Elizabeth Polanco de los Santos, 21 years old, studying in the Bronx? She and her friend were, they were on a trip. In July, she and her friend heading home to New York from a vacation in Istanbul for some reason. Their connecting flight took them to Paris, but they changed the flight to go to Dubai so they could see the famous city during a 10-hour layover. Thought it'd be more modern, she said, more futuristic. We were completely wrong. Going through security, the Dubai airport staff wanted her to take off a waist compressor she was required to wear after a recent surgery. They took her to a private booth. Female staff members took off the compressor, but then the girl's mother told people they were detained in Dubai. They were roughly treating her. They hurt her steel healing surgery scars. Then they laughed at her, and when she asked for help to put the complicated garment to help her with a surgery thing, they refused. She said, I was feeling uncomfortable, afraid. I was totally violated. The compressor has many pins. You need to stretch the edges to clip small, skinny pins together close to them. I mean, not that it was a terrible thing. So she leaned past a security guard, blocking her way, and called out for her friend to come and help her. At the meantime, she gently touched the arm of the security guard to guide her out of the way, and then desperately started crying to my friend for help. That's when they detained her in a room for hours as the security guard she touched filed a complaint against her. She wasn't allowed to leave until they made her sign a form in Arabic. When she came back to the airport to catch her flight to New York, she was informed the travel ban filed against her forced her to stay in Dubai. That was in July. She stayed for weeks. A judge allowed her to pay a fine of almost $3,000, but then the Dubai prosecutors appealed the ruling, and she was sentenced yesterday to a year in prison for touching the arm of a security guard in Dubai. Talk about stress. Disrupted her whole life, scarred her long term. No way to heal this. As visitors to Dubai, the State Department has no comment. I mean, holy moly. Let's go get her. I'm free. 446 for the Kimber Feet and Flound. Hey, coming back to it. I got it. we go. He's out. We'll get to it in a second. Look out. It's only me, the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder at 449. Boom, boom, boom. Pumping it up. The vote 216 to 210. We'll go get more coverage in a second. This is Pump Up the Volume. Now, is this MARS or Mars?
I believe MARS is Mars.
It's M period A period R period S period. In 1987, this Mars group was at number 1 in the British singles chart with Pump Up the Volume, the first British-made house hit, heavily sampled other recordings, which resulted in litigation. Heavily sampled other recordings. I mean, they stole heavily sampled other recordings. What the hell does that mean? Legalese, I guess. Your Honor, they heavily sampled other recordings, eh? 450. A quick birthday. Chubby Checker. 82 years old today. We got to do the twist, and it goes like this. I remember as a child, I was I was like 15 or 14, whatever, and the first time that like going to a country club dance or something, and that was a big song with Chubby Checker, and we saw our parents doing the twist. Yes. Oh, God. Did you ever see your parents doing the twist, Pete?
No.
Flounder, did you ever see your parents doing the twist?
Absolutely. My mom and dad loved to dance.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I love it.
Now we got breaking news.
Breaking news, yes.
Kevin McCarthy is out, as you said. Someone put a meme out of Donald Trump saying, "You're fired."
You're fired.
He is the first speaker to have the gavel taken away from him in 234 years.
Wow. 216 to 210. And by 216 to 210 means there are, 19 other people didn't show up? There's 435 members of Congress. So how come there's only 426 voting?
I guess that might be only that is present.
Yeah, right. So where are they? Or are they voted? Are they voted not
present,
not present, whatever? But again, what's that explanation? And who were they? I'll bet they were Republicans too afraid to go yes or no. Because here's what happened. I'll guarantee you. Here's what happened. It's 216 to 210 to get rid of McCarthy. Those who didn't vote, I don't know whether someone might have been sick or I don't know, but I find it hard to believe they wouldn't be showing up to the vote unless they knew beforehand that he was going to lose, and the people who didn't vote didn't want to have their name associated with ousting him because they were afraid that they'd hurt his feelings. So they were friends, but they didn't want to vote against him. But they knew he was going to lose. I'll bet you that's it, because they knew what the outcome's going to be. They knew how many were going to vote, because they knew all the Dems are going to vote no to get rid of him. And so they counted the votes, and they said, well, I don't want to vote no because I don't want to hurt that one, but think I'm not his friend anymore. I guarantee you.
The Babylon Bee just put out, "Panicked McCarthy looks for fire alarm."
Anyway, they're in. I guess they're in recess now. They've got Pergram. What's his name? The Capitol Hill guy for Fox.
Who's next? Who's next?
I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they have to hire a speaker. And so obviously it's going to be totally, totally partisan. And since the Republicans have more votes, they will carry. But
now this is the last time a speaker was removed was 1910. This is the first time it's been done by resolution, a passage of resolution. So there's different ways of doing it, I guess.
Wow. Oh, I tell you, can we go live? Here's
with Democrats.
Matt Gaetz is talking.
The first time this has happened.
Matt Gaetz talking to reporters outside the Capitol.
Congressman Gaetz, if not McCarthy, then who?
Analyzed the House of Representatives today. To whose benefit?
Matt Gaetz.
People have called you a narcissist. People say that is to your benefit alone. Is it to the benefit of you and to Donald Trump?
It's the benefit of this country that we have a better Speaker of the House than Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy couldn't keep his word. He made an agreement in January regarding the way Washington would work, and he violated that agreement. We are $33 trillion in debt. We are facing $2.2 trillion annual deficits. We face a de-dollarization globally that will crush Americans, working class Americans. Kevin McCarthy is a feature of the swamp. He has risen to power by collecting special interest money and redistributing that money in exchange for favors. We are breaking the fever now, and we should elect a speaker who's better.
So if not Kevin McCarthy, then who? Then who?
You said last night that Steve Scalise was a name that you floated to potentially be speaker. Where do things stand right now? If not McCarthy, then who?
Well, the stages of grief, I think, are in progress right now with some of my colleagues. I think there was a stage of of denial, and I've certainly experienced a good amount of their anger, and now we appear to be headed toward bargaining. I think the world of Steve Scalise. I think he'd make a phenomenal speaker.
We've got less than 45.
Jeez.
I'm afraid of $33 trillion in debt crushing the working people in my district. I'm afraid of the dollar losing its status as the global reserve currency. If they want to expel me, let me know when they have the vote.
Less than 45 days left before we've got less than 45 days left before you have to pass a budget, which is something that you've been wanting to do. Doesn't this just completely paralyze the House? I mean, we could see 15 more rounds.
I don't think we will. I think Kevin McCarthy should take a hint. After 15 ballots to become Speaker, after 8 months of a failed speakership, and after removal in this historic manner, I think we should move on and find somebody else. What's paralyzed the House of Representatives has been the failure of Speaker McCarthy. What paralyzed the House of Representatives was not taking up appropriations bills. We left for a 6-week vacation while the appropriations process hung in the balance. And because I forced these people to take a few votes, you think I'm paralyzing the House of Representatives? I think the House of Representatives has been paralyzed for the last several decades as we've refused to pass a budget, as we've governed by continuing resolution and omnibus bill. So I think that this represents the ripping off of the Band-Aid, and that's what we need to do to get back on track.
How do you pass anything if 200 Republicans? How do you pass anything?
Say to your colleagues who argue you don't have another name right now. You don't have someone else who could get 218 votes. What do you tell those colleagues?
Well, I would tell them that for certain Kevin McCarthy can't get 218 votes, so let's try the next person.
How do you pass something with pro tem, obviously?
There would have to be a real meeting of the minds there.
Congressman Gates, how do you pass something if there's 200 Republicans?
Are you going to ask for a guarantee from whoever is floated as a candidate for the next speaker for them to actually move the appropriations process along in a speed that satisfies you?
Yes.
Congressman, at this point,
will you be putting yourself forward for the speakership? Absolutely not. I have no desire to be Speaker of the House.
How do you pass, Congressman, with all due respect, how do you pass something if you don't have 200 Republicans behind you?
I know we've already asked about names, but what about Emmer and others?
I think the world of Tom Emmer. He'd make a great speaker.
Congressman, are you going to any of these? Have you spoken with Scalise? Have you spoken with Emmer?
I've spoken with him, but I'll probably keep our conversations between us.
What Congressman take the speaker?
Ben, what was going through your head when the vote gaveled down and it was official McCarthy wasn't Speaker?
How are you feeling?
We got to move to the next step.
We are not. That's probably enough. 4:57. Well, there he goes.
Two things jump out of there. Number one, it's amazing how the press, the media there, becomes the voice of status quo, defending what's gone on for the last few decades. He's right. We got to rip the Band-Aid off if you want to fix this budget problem. The only thing that concerns me, this whole bugaboo about the dollar's going to be taken out as the world's currency and stuff, I don't think there's any chance of that happening.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue that I don't think anybody thinks about that as a major issue too. Sure is. And by the way, when he was talking, there was also video of McCarthy leaving the area with a big smile on his face and kind of trying to make the best of it, I guess. But he's got to be humiliated. I mean, holy cow! And again, and what now? I mean, here we go. The Republicans have, by the way, this sure takes the Hunter Biden story off the front page, doesn't it? Holy smokes. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. I've never, in all my years.
Well, this needs to be done, but the Democrats are just eating it up. They love this. Oh, yeah.
And the only thing that kills me is if kind of the middle of the road voters, maybe the suburban housewife type voters, if they see this kind of turmoil going into the next election, and therefore have a little lack of trust on leadership and stuff, and maybe stay home or don't get very active in it. I mean, this could mean everything.
Well, this is what Biden's going to say.
Yeah.
He's going to come out and say they can't govern because look at them, they can't even govern themselves.
Right. It took them 18 votes to get a speaker, and then they fired him. So yeah, I mean,
but that's how it's supposed to work. If he's not doing the job, then fire him. This is how a republic is supposed to work like this.
And by the way, that's what progressive means. That the Republicans are the progressive ones, and we just showed it today. They're doing things, they're taking steps, and they're not willing to stand by the status quo.
By the way, ABC just broke into the baseball game with the report here, and I think they found every horrific photo they could have found on Kevin McCarthy. He looks like a monster.
Really? Well, Getz is still talking live with the folks on Fox, and we'll pick up some more of this later after the time. It's almost 5 o'clock as we speak right now. Anyway, and also, we'll update you on the Navy SEALs and the Marine Corps dress code these days. And Pete found out about a couple of people who are on a constant cruise ship because around the world every day because it's cheaper than buying a retirement home. 5 o'clock with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Look at it. Here we go. Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder, right a blank. Ready on the dog. Target. Road guards out. Hey, how's it going? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. Can we put up 5? Oh, no, never mind. I thought
just, if I hear it, I got it.
Okay. Flounder's keeping track. The Kimmer, Pete and Flounder, and it's a 504, and Kevin McCarthy just got ousted as Speaker, in case you just joined us. 216 to 210 the vote. Am I wrong? Aren't there 435 seats in Congress, and therefore we're missing like 19 people didn't vote or abstained or something. I don't know why, and I don't know whether they're going to be around when they decide the next vote for the speaker, and I don't know when that's coming either. In fact, Peter, if you see something on the web coming down here about what the next step is, because I'm not sure. They've now eliminated their speaker, McCarthy, and the next step is to get a new one, another one, and I guess they have to. I don't know who's running it in the meantime. I don't know who's the Speaker of the House in the meantime. It's got to be an actor, an acting speaker. And by the way, if you didn't hear it, yeah, they're all acting now. Yeah, even Donald Trump just quoted as saying a few minutes ago. Here we go, Republican Party can't seem to get along together. And here we go again, and here we go again. He's absolutely right. Again, I don't know what the next step is to get another speaker. In the meantime, they don't have a speaker, and the House is going to have to still do its business. But I don't know what that means or who runs it. Is there a pro tem? Maybe it must be a speaker. Isn't there a speaker pro tem?
It's anarchy.
Yes, it's
anarchy.
Insurrection. Anyway, so we got that going for us, which is nice. We're going to talk a lot more about the Trevor Bauer case. Hold on a second. I guess an itch in my ear. I hate that. The Trevor Bauer case. And Pete, do you want to save his soundbite for your Holy Crap at Sports for 5:15?
No, I'm not talking about Trevor during sports.
Oh, you aren't?
It's just no, because it's not really sports. It's just
it isn't.
There's a lot going on in sports that is more important than what's going on with Trevor.
Well, I think that's a great decision. I didn't want to take it away from you if you wanted to.
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to it. I want to do. I want to do one quick. A story on this guy who did the fire alarm business. And again, Pete was looking at the Babylon Bee a minute ago, and they said, what was the headline they said?
That McCarthy panics, looks for fire alarm.
It didn't work. And I want to talk about the fire alarm guy, and then some good news about that little girl. And then we'll talk about the Trevor Bauer business. Holy Crap at Sports coming up. Also more Flounders Funnies, and we have Skynet and Pete's tweets and all kinds of good stuff. And also putting to rest, Pete, with good news for you, because you were a little nervous yesterday. Hope now that the morning show is calling us the gay guys in the afternoon. We'll put to rest any worry about triggering the Kimmer concerning the final wife business. I'll explain that here coming up here shortly. First of all, this guy disgraced Democrat Representative Jamal Blackmail from the Democrat of New York is in more hot water after he not only pulled the old fire alarm trick to try to delay so the Democrats could get their act together when they were voting on the budget, but now he referred to his Republican colleagues as Nazis. He's a member of the group of House progressives known as the Squad, which you know, and he pulled the fire alarm in one of the House's three office buildings. A chaos, averted averted shutdown going on. Well, his office had circulated a memo, and they wanted to have some talking points over the demand by Republicans to demand his expulsion from Congress. One proposed talking point by his office titled Messaging Guidance Supporting Congressman Jamal Bowman After Accidental Fire Alarm. Oh, my God. That's the title. Hell, that's the whole memo. Anyway, it says, I believe Congressman Bowman when he says this was an accident, but the memo reads, Republicans need to instead focus their energy on the Nazi members of their own party before anything else. And then Bowman tried to walk it back, the reference to on Twitter, and he said, I just became aware in our messaging guidance there was inappropriate use of the term Nazi without my consent. It's important to specify the term Nazi to millennials. But then Amalia Takas, a girl from New York, a Republican, unveiled a resolution to get rid of him. This is the United States Congress, not the New York City Public High School. Anyway, he knows all these tricks. He used to be a high school and middle school principal. Anyway, so they're going to be dealing with him later, and it's a 5:08. And again, we'll get more about the speaker business. McCarthy just got ousted, and not as representative, he's still in Congress, but just as speaker. And the next step we'll take. Also, the good news: a little town in Milton, New York, upstate New York, State Park. 9-year-old girl Charlotte Cena. Charlotte was with her family over the weekend. And then she wanted to take one more ride by herself on her bike around the park. And her parents said, okay, for some reason, and off she went, and then she disappeared. Then they went looking for her and found her bike. Well, She was kidnapped and had disappeared. And here's the story of what happened to her and the rescue. Quote, "It was a scene right out of a movie. SWAT trucks and cop cars were here in seconds, guns out. There was a rapid succession and at least 5 flash bangs," said a guy named Michael who lives next door. Law enforcement rescued her from a cabinet inside the trailer on this guy's mother's property. The bad guy is Craig Ross. Michael's wife said she grabbed my kids and hid them in the basement when the officers stormed in. He said, "At first I saw 2 cars pull up on my grass, and as I'm coming out to yell to get off my lawn, police jump out with tactical gear and vests, and just like that, snap your fingers, 15 SWAT trucks and police cars are all over the house, at least 30 officers, full gear, guns. The flashbangs were right outside my bedroom. My concern was more, what if they run into our yard and he runs in and takes my kids as hostages? During the raid, I caught a glimpse of her face, and I said, that's her, she's in there. And then I saw her getting wheeled into the ambulance. I just wanted to hug her and hold her until her mom came to get her and tell her she's safe. She became everybody's child. Everyone in the area loves her, wanted her to come home, and the police did too. You can see and hear them exhale. They were high-fiving with smiles. It was an amazing outcome." 6 p.m. last night, Charlene and her oldest daughter, Bella, 11, noticed a police car 200 yards from her house. The little girl, Charlotte, held against her will by this scumbag a few minutes away in the other direction. She said, "We know they found Charlotte. They found Charlotte missing since Saturday when he abducted her from the Moreau State Park, a popular camping site between Lake George and Saratoga Springs in upstate New York. And the little girl is safe and sound. And he was not a registered sex offender, but he's a scumbag, and he's been in trouble with the law before. And they say the little girl's in good health, and they have not talked about whether she was abused. I don't know, but apparently they hit her. He hit her in a cabinet inside the trailer. But she knew when they got her that she was being rescued, and so everybody's happy.
The largest trailer park I ever saw in my life was in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Really? Probably because of the horse racing.
It was the entire valley was trailers.
Well, I'll bet you it's because of the horse trainers and and all that kind of stuff for the horse racing season, and I'll bet that's why it is. A beautiful part of the country, and a huge. The Revolutionary War, the fight of Saratoga was big time Charlie.
The naval battles that Benedict Arnold was part of on Lake George are amazing in Champlain.
Yeah, huge part of history. Speaking of history, we'll talk about the high school changing, allowing kids to make money off their name, image, and likeness. But first, the Trevor Bauer story, and we'll start this and pick it up after sports with Pete, because there's a lot going on in sports today. Trevor Bauer, the former Major League pitcher, now pitching in Japan, former of the Dodgers, and this chick, Lindsey Hill, have settled their both counter lawsuits. No money exchanged hands, but for some reason, the girl's insurance company paid her $300,000. I don't know why. Doesn't explain it in the story. But you'll hear from Trevor Bauer coming up after Pete's Sportscast, talking about what he includes in the text that he showed in court. So the judge said, "Oh my God, lady, you deceived us all, and you were hardly raped or abused." Like when you said you wanted him to, hit you and beat you up and knock you out and stuff like that. Anyway, and also that she clearly set him up. She was asking people, what should I do now to get his money? Need daddy to choke me out, she wrote. Need an absolute whore to get in there to take his $51 million. Oh, my God. Anyway, so we'll get to all of that with the Trevor Bauer test. And also, I know I'm wrong, but I think it's a terrible idea to allow high school kids to make money off their name, image, and likeness. It's been going on, and now they're making it legal and saying, well, you parents have to take care of it, not us. Well, there goes that idea. When's that ever going to work? With athletes, star athletes? Please. 5:13, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Holy crap, and sports is next. Hey, there you go.
Everybody, damn it.
518. You trying to tell me something? You got a memo from management, I'll bet you. Don't let him on so much, will you? Holy crap at sports with Pete Davis.
Well, the baseball playoffs have begun right now in the 8th inning. Texas is beating Tampa Bay in Tampa 4-0. Montgomery's pitching the game of his life for the Rangers. And in Minnesota, the Twins have jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Blue Jays. So that's game ones right there. And more games coming up later.
You know, it's amazing. I couldn't tell you the records of any of those teams in the American League. I haven't followed them. I have no Minnesota and Toronto. Like, is there? Maybe I'm alone in that. No interest at all in the American League this year. Sorry.
Ronald Acuna Jr. has been named the 2023 Baseball Digest MLB Player of the Year. So congratulations.
That's one. Excellent.
Yeah, the Braves await the winner, the Phillies-Marlins series. And personally, I prefer Miami to win that one since their ace Tar is out for the rest of the season with the pitching elbow problem. The Fish had their way with the Bravos during that 3-game series in Florida a couple weeks ago, but the postseason is different. The Braves' first game of the NLDS will be in Truist Park this Saturday, October 7th. The opponent and time will be announced. Andrew Jones will throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
Excellent.
We do know that.
Excellent.
This segment on the NLDS brought to you by Marietta Toyota, Truist Bank, the Alternate Career Sports Academy, AquaGuard, and Solomon Brothers. On this date, 1976, Hank Aaron singled in his last Major League at-bat, drove in RBI number 2,297 in a loss by the Brewers to the Tigers. Ironically, the home run king, and he's still the home run king to me. His final hit was an infield single.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. With the retirement of Miguel Cabrera, there are now no longer any active hitters who ever faced the Montreal Expos.
Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. That's right. Yeah.
The New York media is going nuts about how the Mets treated Buck Showalter.
Wow, yeah.
Buck quit after basically being told he was going to be fired. They did a news conference yesterday, or the day before, I forget, I was watching it, and I thought the Mets owner Steve Cohen was just a little too flippant about Buck Showalter being let go. It was very disrespectful, in my opinion, and he's a lifetime well-respected baseball man, Showalter is. Chris Mad Dog Russo, beside himself, he called it cowardly, among other adjectives, saying this is a horrible way for the new GM, president of baseball operations, Stearns, to come in, because he basically made the other guy fire him. And that didn't go over well up there. The New York media is going nuts about it. Buck Showalter was liked. I think he probably should have been fired, but that's just me. They like him up there.
Yeah.
The Angels announced that Phil Nevin will not be back next season, so he joins Buck and Gabe Kapler on the unemployment line. And we've had a full season of the pitch clock and the new rules.
Yeah.
Did it improve the game, in your opinion?
Probably. I'm not sure about the pickoff business. I really didn't see a lot of evidence of that doing anything, but you definitely saw it sped up the game a little bit. But
I'm going to hit you with some stats here that are going to blow your mind and say that the answer is yes. In fact, ancient alien theorists say yes.
Oh, my.
They always do. The average time of a 9-inning Major League game dropped to 2 hours, 40 minutes in the first year of this pitch clock. That's a 24-minute decrease.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also been a spiking batting average and the most stolen bases in nearly 40 years.
That's what I wasn't sure of about whether it makes. How many times have you seen him throw over there twice, which means then they can't do it again or whatever? I mean, I rarely saw
it. It didn't happen as much as we thought.
Yeah.
It didn't happen as much. There were 390 3.5-hour games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This season, only 9.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
The Mets led with 57 pitch clock violations. Philly reliever Craig Kimbrell had the most individual ones with 13. There were just 4 violations of the shift rule, which meant the 2 infielders had to be on one side of the second base.
Yeah.
That only happened 4 times. That's weird. The Major League batting average rose to 248 from 243 last year. And who do you think had the higher batting average, left-handers or right-handers?
Oh, wow. Well, because of the shift, probably left-handers.
Well, you're correct. The average left-handed batters who benefited most increased 11 points to 247, their highest in 4 years. But the average for right-handed hitters rose by 2, so they're at 249. So right-handed batters had a 2-point better average for batting average than lefties did, even though they're closer to first base.
Yeah. But when's the last time you saw the shift for right-handed batters? I mean, it's almost this year. Every time, this year you didn't, but up until this year, back in my memory, I'm thinking to myself, it was always when the great left-handed batter show, they moved the third baseman over to play double second base. But I don't remember him doing, having three guys but on the left side when a right-handed batter came up.
Yeah, speaking of lefty, Brian McCann was probably thinking all those hits I could have.
Yeah, yeah.
Runs increased to an average over 9 per game from 8 per game. Stolen bases went to 1.4 from 1 with the bigger bases. The 3,500 plus steals were up from the 2,400 last year. It's the most since '87. The 80% success rate was the highest in big league history, by the way, of steals. Home runs were up by over 600.
Wow.
There were 1,000 more strikeouts this season than last year, but you can't blame the Braves for that. The batters were really good. Now, Spencer Strider helped with that.
Yeah, he sure did.
A little bit. There were over 500 more pitches over 100 miles per hour than last year. They're getting bigger, stronger, and faster, and their elbows are
and they're losing their arms and going into surgery earlier than ever, too. Yeah, that's right.
And here's the strangest stat of all when it comes to the rules changes.
Yeah.
Going back 2 years since the advent of the ghost runner on second base in the extra innings, guess what? Visiting teams went 105-96 in extra inning games in the first year. Visitors in the last 2 years have a 368 to 358 edge in extra innings since the rule was first adopted as the China virus alteration back in 2020. In the past, the home team usually won. Now the visiting team wins more of the extra inning affairs.
Do we have a reason for that?
Well, I think it is because you expect to get the guy in from second, but if the visiting team manages to get the second guy in, that puts a big lot of pressure on the minds of the home team. You can almost see them sag in the dugout.
Yeah. And by the way, that's not going to happen in the playoffs. That second baseman, ghost baseman, they're not going to do that rule for the playoffs. It's going to be like your old-fashioned baseball.
Who told you that?
I read it.
Okay, I'm just checking.
No, it's not.
All right. Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze may have just let the tiger out of the bag. Said he's going to miss playing Georgia every year. Which could mean the end of the annual Deep South's oldest rivalry game. And Lane Kiffin already said last week that he's going to miss playing Alabama every year, which I won't.
Well, maybe he's going somewhere else to coach.
Either that or he's going to Alabama.
Yeah, maybe he's going to Nebraska or something. Who knows?
Yeah, he's going to Nebraska. Yeah, you're right. So I'm watching the Seahawks beat up the Giants, and for the first time, I had to turn off the Peyton Eli show on ESPN2.
Really? What happened?
Peyton got so mad at Eli, he was yelling at him to shut up. And it got so uncomfortable and heated, I finally had to flip over to the Joe Buck Troy Aikman broadcast, which shows just how bad it got. In fact, Peyton showed a side of him I don't think he likes to show too often. And
what were they fighting about?
He was fighting because Eli was supposed to be feeding him some plays while Peyton explained it, and Eli kept interrupting him and basically interrupting the bit, and Peyton got mad at him. And it was obvious he was mad at him. And it was like the first 15 minutes of our show yesterday.
Well, I was going to say, luckily we never have that problem.
But anyway, speaking of cowardly, how about that American Ryder Cup team over in Rome, Italy? Aren't they wild? Aren't they something?
Oh, man, that didn't take long.
It was such an example of losing. The entire American team has been made honorary members of the Italian Army. The Powerball over $1.7 billion right now.
Yeah, boy.
That's still well over $1 billion less than what Michael Jordan is now worth, according to Forbes. He's over $3 billion
Holy
worth
cow.
now.
By the way, I chipped in $5. We got a pool. Did you give it to Mike? Flounder, did you have a chance to give it to Mike? I can't see Flounder. Oh, he's in the back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did. He said he did.
Okay, so when we win, and now, Peter, I don't know if you're in this or not, but I'll cut you in on my share if we win.
Flounder supposedly he's put in 5 for me.
Okay. Well,
we're on record that we're all in.
We're all in. We are all in.
All in. On this date in 1936, we lost John Heisman. He legalized a forward pass. He originated the center snap. He was the coach at Clemson and Georgia Tech. I think he brought the first national championship at Georgia Tech to the Deep South, basically, when he was there. Heisman Trophy named after him. He died from pneumonia. He was only 66. And I've told this story before. He left Atlanta and left Georgia Tech because he got a divorce from his wife, and he was afraid it would embarrass her if they showed up at the same social functions in the city, so he left.
Wow.
I mean, that's a gentleman.
He was a
1948, after taking his position in center field in the bottom of the 8th at Fenway Park, and that's, Red Sox territory, and he's a Yankee. Joe DiMaggio was removed from the game by the Yankee manager Bucky Harris. As a superstar of their hated rivals limped off the field, the enthusiastic Red Sox crowd gave Joltin' Joe a lengthy and loud standing ovation, a gesture he will later refer to as one of the greatest thrills of his career.
Very nice.
That was very classy of them.
Yes,
and 1951, Game 3 of the National League Playoff Series at the Polo Grounds, Bobby Thompson's 1-out, 3-run homer off Ralph Branca beat the Dodgers in the bottom of the ninth, 5-4. The Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant, as Russ Hodges said.
Yeah, boy.
Better known as a shot heard around the world, one of the most famous home runs in baseball history. And in 2000, you probably remember this, against the Braves, Cardinals rookie starter Rick Ankiel set the modern-day Major League record, uncorking 5 wild pitches in the third inning of Game 1 of the NLDS. He never really recovered from.
No, he didn't. Didn't he turn into an outfielder? Is that the guy who turned into an outfielder? That's
Played
true.
for the
True story.
Braves.
And he
came back as a hitter.
He was a pretty good outfielder and a good hitter, by the way. He played ball. I mean, he made the majors as an all of a sudden, pretty good for him. Birthdays, you have Dave Winfield, 72 today, Hall of Famer.
I don't like Dave Winfield.
And on this day in 1974, the new manager of the Cleveland Indians, the first black manager, Frank Robinson. On this day in history. And, oh my God, it's almost 5:30. And coming up, we got I'll do more of the Trevor Bauer thing. You'll hear him talking about this broad who got caught willing to get the crap beat out of her to get money in an extortion scheme that the judge finally put an end to as they've settled their lawsuits for no money. It's 5:30, and why you no longer have to worry about triggering the Kimmer, Pete. I've figured out that it's all going to be good. Thanks to Fleetwood Mac and the old Golden Bachelor show. Coming up 5:30 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder right here. The West Wing, and also I believe she played Amber Fry on the Scott Peterson murder story of the pregnant wife Christmas time thing. And as you can see, I didn't look up a lot of the information on it, but it's just tough.
Show prep.
Well, I spent 13 freaking hours on this stupid job as it is, including travel time. So I just forgot to look up all that stuff. In fact, I forgot one thing today that I had Flounder to get me something from Saturday Night Live, which I have to save for tomorrow because in all my hastiness to get everything, I left my bad history day book home. So,
damn.
So I'll get that tomorrow. On this day in history, however, it was 20 years ago, '03. Roy Horn, half of the Magic team, Siegfried and Roy, was nearly killed on stage by one of his white tigers. Montecore bit him in the neck during a show on this day 20 years ago. The bite severed an artery, caused a stroke, which left Roy Horn partially paralyzed. He died 3 years ago. This happened 20 years ago, and he lived 17 years basically paralyzed.
Remember they claimed that the tiger was trying to save him?
Save him, yeah. He loved him so much to save him from the outrageous crowd that was coming or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, man, I don't know. I can't really. That's really hard true. Anyway, all right, back to the Trevor Bauer thing, just to kind of wrap this up. Trevor Bauer, former Major League star pitcher, kind of a goofball, and teammates really didn't like him. He was a weird kind of a guy, but a Major League star, a huge former Cy Young winner and everything else. There's a chick named Lindsey Hill, was one of his sexual partners, and she complained about him as beating her up and raping her and all kinds of stuff. The Dodgers basically got rid of him, and it's been going on in court. He sued her. She countersued. Well, they settled the case out of court yesterday with no money exchanging hands, although her insurance company's paying her $300,000. And my guess is that he had such a strong case, since the judge said she's got no case, that they were afraid they were going to lose big time. So they said, hell, we'll pay you. Just drop it. I'll bet you they were afraid of losing millions. And so they said, we were willing to give you, our own client, $300,000 just to shut up about it, because we know you're a liar now. They've caught you. Anyway, Trevor Bauer, in a message, went more minutes than you'll hear here, just a little bit of it. He revealed the messages and the video from the morning after one of his so-called sexual encounters with this chick named Lindsey Hill, which came to light depicting her lying in bed next to a sleeping Bauer, appearing to smirk without any of the so-called injuries. Well, here's Trevor Bauer after he released some of the text messages and audio about the case.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is $51 million, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response. But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his $51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you $50,000, Lindsey replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place.
She had claimed that he had punched her and choked her out during her encounter, even though she obviously was asking for it in order to get the money. It was an extortion scheme, apparently from the very beginning. But the story is so much more than sports. I mean, obviously the Dodgers got rid of him. He has to go. He's playing now in Japan, and he may be a jerk, and he may not be a very fun guy to be around, and you wouldn't want him to date your daughter. But he was open and honest about it. He was contacting women who like to get roughed up.
Yeah, he was at Southern Cal. I think he was teammates with Garrett Cole, and no one seemed to like him at Southern Cal either.
Yeah, so he's got problems personality-wise, but at least he was honest about it. It's not like he's not like Bill Cosby, where he was spiking their drinks. They were asking for it. They wanted to be choked out, roughed up, bloodied. They like to be hurt when they're having sex with strangers or guys. Even, I mean, oh my God. Anyway, so he's a freak, he's a weird guy, but he still has the right to make a living and not be charged with something in an extortion and bribery scheme and then lose his career. He had to go to another country.
So where does it say in the contracts that baseball can't allow somebody who does that to women?
Yeah,
that's part of I'm sure it is.
It's got to be a morals clause thing, because there's no way that you'd have to be so specific that if you choke out a girl and punch her in the face, you can no longer play for the, I mean, hell, Steve Garvey knocked up half the women in California, and he was okay with.
He was the father of Southern California.
Father of California. I mean, bumper stickers, honk if you've had Steve Garvey's baby. Anyway, Trevor, I mean, what a story. And this woman, what should happen to her? Seriously.
She should be made a pariah. Her face should be plastered all over billboards. If I'm Trevor Bauer, I'm buying billboards and putting her face up.
Well, I mean, but I mean, I guess you can't. It's a civil case, so I guess you can't send her to jail. But I mean,
and what about that Padres pitcher?
What was he doing?
What a scumball he was.
Yeah, he was in on telling her how to get her money. You got to get the bag. Yay.
Disgusting.
I mean, it's just horrible. Excuse me. And one more quick thing on sports thing. I mentioned it earlier, so I won't dwell on it here. And again, we'll recap the top story with the Speaker of the House getting ousted.
Top story.
The Georgia High School, and for the deaf, I'm sorry. The Georgia High School Association has now relaxed the rules, and new rules will say that athletes from any sport in Georgia high schools, are now, able to earn money from their name, image, and likeness, NIL deals, without losing amateur status. One of the co-chairman guys is actually calling on the parents to step up. He says, whether you like it or not, Georgia high schools faced up and said, we need to get in front of this. And he said, my opinion is kind of putting everything off on you guys, you parents. If you want to do this as parents and you want to do this for your child, here's the rules. They can't use the name of the school or the school logo or gear facilities. They have to do it on their own outside of the actual school if they want to get in on this. No trademark stuff, no booze, no drugs. Although some of the deals, experts are saying this is going to go way bigger than you think. It's going to be way out of control. And the first case they're citing is the Carrollton High School star quarterback named Juju Lewis. As a sophomore in high school, he's already committed to the University of Southern California. And when there's a Georgia Tech guy or Emory guy, economist, says he's one of those players that has a national brand, it's going to attract major companies.
Well, what's their problem with it?
Well, as long as it's on the up and up. The only problem I have with it is that all of a sudden I just don't like the idea of monetizing children. They're still kids.
But this is making it on the up and up. This is taking it out of the shadows and putting it out so we can all look at it.
I know. It's a new world. TikTok.
I think at 17 they should be able to control a little bit of what's going on with it, but they don't get the money till they're 18.
Well, but again, it's like the I'm an old fart. I'm an old goof. My God, 15-year-old TikTok influencers can sit on their bedroom when their parents aren't watching and go on the internet and make $700,000 a year doing various things that they shouldn't be doing. This is the whole world's screwed up, and I just don't like all of a sudden now the discussion of every freaking very good athlete in every freaking high school and every freaking place in Georgia is going to be how much money can I get. And I don't like it.
It's America.
I know.
I know. Capitalism.
Well, they're making more than I am.
That's what
That's what it's probably all about.
I mean, come on.
Well, I'm coming. I've had a whole new life experience. In fact, just recently. In fact, by the way, they're replaying tonight on TV. The first episode of Golden Bachelor. The old 75-year-old guy and all these older women in their 70s, all dolled up. And then they showed one of the teas where one woman, poor thing, she's 77 years old or something, says, crying, you made me feel like I was the one, and she's got to go home alone. I'm afraid she's going to blow her brains out. So it's just putting me back into reality. And you mentioned, Pete, you were yesterday, you were afraid to mention your ex-wife's birthday because you were afraid it would trigger me mentioning an ex-wife. My final wife, okay, back on my birthday, it was a terrible thing that happened to me, and I'll never get over it, but that's no big deal anymore. I'm hearing the lyrics now from Fleetwood Mac. The Flounder's putting on my magic stick, and they're talking. I mean, the love in it and the magic and the mystery, and I'm bringing all those wonderful thoughts back to me. And Pete, you cannot trigger me anymore with my final wife. You could trigger me only with mentioning my final wife if you're telling me that she's waiting for you downstairs in the car. That would that would
on
do
your
it.
car.
Other than that,
she's on the hood of your car with a key.
Other than that, it's fine.
I saw her with a hammer heading toward the parking deck.
Well, there you go. And by the way, when you mention your wife, I haven't talked to her in years, so that's not even an issue either.
I got you beat. 1986, buddy.
Very funny. It's only been 20 years for me. 5:46 for the Kipper, Pete, and Flounder. Look out. We'll be back. Wow. That was Matt Gaetz. And this is Captain Kangaroo.
What a transition.
Dancing Bear.
Come on, Hefner. Dun, dun, dun.
Long before Sesame Street.
Yeah, boy. It was... 1955. Captain Kangaroo starring Bob Keeshan. Here we go. Go ahead. Keep going. Does it keep going or did it stop?
Stop.
Okay. That was Bob Keeshan, debuted on CBS this day in 1955. That show in which guys like me never missed. Bunny Rabbit, Grandfather Clock, Mr. Moose, and of course, Mr. Green Jeans.
And a Dancing Bear.
A Dancing Bear. This was a way precursor to Mr. Rogers' Next Door Neighborhood thing. And Captain Kangaroo was a Marine. I think he joined after World War II, maybe, and didn't. I don't think he saw any action, but I believe he was a Marine. And Lee Marvin used to joke about him, I think, being in the Marine Corps, because Lee Marvin was actually shot in the ass, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. A birthday list includes. Did I do that one already? Oh, here we go. Tessa Thompson. I don't know her, but if you know, she's 40.
Yeah, you do.
Valkyrie in MCU. What's MCU?
Marvel Cinematic Universe. She's Thor's sidekick.
Bianca in Creed and Charlotte on Westworld and Agent M in Men in Black International. Tessa Thompson.
A lot of stuff.
Ashley Simpson's 39. Sean William Scott's 47. He was Stifler in the American Pie movies. Gwen Stefani's 54 today. Good for her.
Wow.
And let's see. A quick history note. Oh, how's this for a flashback? Politically, 2007. The latest polls on this day in 2007 show the race for the Democratic top spot for the presidential ticket is a cinch. Barack Hussein Puditat is trailing by 12 points to Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage. She had it sewed up and didn't get it. And then remember the time when she lost to Trump, the New York Times said she had a 93% chance of winning like 2 days before. Anyway, that didn't happen either. And one more quick thing. 1942, Germany test-fired its first V-2 rocket, traveled 118 miles. 2 years later, 1944, the Nazi scum would unleash more than 1,000 against Great Britain, killed hundreds of thousands of civilians, children, the precursors to the modern ICBMs, World War II. Anyway, 5:53 with the Caribbean Flounder, and Matt Getz is done. And boy, you heard heard the booing and the yelling and the turmoil in the party, and I can't wait to see what happens by later on tonight. And Lord knows by morning who's doing what and who's in what camp, and there's going to have to be divisions and compromises and getting to. I mean, I don't know what they're doing now. I guess they're going to have to start. Who do we want? What do we do?
He may not be the best guy, to do this, but the fact he's exposing the swamp and exposing these corrupt SOBs, I love that fact.
Well, he made it clear, too. He said, I am not running for speaker. I do not want to be speaker. I don't want to have any chance of being speaker. If anything else, he's helping himself either be governor or senator, but that's a whole other issue. And again, or maybe part of Trump's cabinet. But again, here we go. I mean, he's the animal in the China shop. What do they call it? Who was the animal? The bull in the China shop.
Bull.
Oh, my God.
But here's the thing. He's putting all his chips in the Trump basket.
Yeah.
If Trump doesn't win, he's a pariah in the Republican Party.
Well, but he's got, Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of them on his side. So, there's a whole group. But again, here we go. And how they're going to pull everything together in time for the primaries, which are soon. I mean, we're already in October. Anyway, so here we go.
They're incompetent. Republican Party is incompetent.
I don't get it. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I don't have anything to base my opinions on. I don't have anything in history to say. Well, I remember the time, or back in the 70s or in the 60s, even when I got nothing. I mean, this has never happened that I remember.
Well, they were in disarray after Nixon, and it took Reagan to bring them back into the fold, into power.
Yeah. Flounder, do we have any, Pete, do you want to do a tweet or a Skynet, or are we having a funny bit or whatever? It's almost running out of time here,
Pete's
5:55.
tweets if you want to
Flounder's in the back there. I think I caught him off guard. Oh, here we go. There he is. Busy day today for sure, 5:55, but we got more to come with Pete and his tweets and a thing we call Pete's tweets.
Well, if you're wondering what happened to Jeff Hollinger, he's now on Georgia Public Broadcasting.
Well, that's a good
11 Alive.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
Doing those stories he does about Atlanta history and Georgia history and the strange things. He's very good at that. So it's be interesting to see what he does.
He is a good storyteller. He's got a lot of stories, too. Like Tom Hughes, our former morning, the king, best morning man ever. Sorry, no offense to the morning bastards.
Keith Richards is 79 years old now and says he's mostly given up alcohol, drugs, and even cigarettes. What year do you think he gave up heroin?
Oh, heroin, God. Well, hopefully, in 1971 or something, probably last year.
In 78, he gave up heroin. Yeah. He gave up cocaine in 2006.
Wow.
He gave up cigarettes 4 years ago, actually. Says he still drinks occasionally because I'm not going to heaven anytime soon. I'm trying to enjoy being straight. It's a unique experience for me.
Wow. My daughter Jennifer on Thursday will be celebrating 19 years of free from cocaine and heroin. She didn't want to stop at cocaine, thought, I'm here already. What the hell? Let's go take the old heroin train. Bing, bang, boom. She's a hero and a role model, and she'll be clean 19 years on Thursday, and I'm going to have a video thing I'm going to post on Facebook and Rumble and stuff later on tomorrow or something maybe. Anyway, sorry.
Mike has this marriage advice.
Yes.
Holding her hand. Well, actually, we just did that earlier. Let's move on. Teacher asked young Bobby, how old is your father?
Yeah.
And Bobby replied, he's 6 years old. Teacher, how's that possible? And Bobby says, he only became a father when I was born. Teacher asked Maria to go to the map and point out North America, which she does. Teacher then asked, now class, who discovered North America? Maria.
Maria discovered.
Weren't you paying attention? She just went up. Teachers asked Glenn, how do you spell crocodile? Glenn answered, Krokodial. Teacher says, no, that's wrong. Glenn says, maybe it is wrong, but you asked me how I spell it.
Kid's going to own his own company one day.
Donald, what's the chemical formula for water? Donald replies, HIJKLMNO. Teacher, what are you talking about? Well, yesterday you told us it was H2O.
H2O, thank you.
Teacher says, Clyde, your composition on my dog is exactly the same as your brother's. Did you copy his? Clyde, no ma'am, it's the same dog. Brad says it's not good when you order a book called How to Scam People and it still hasn't arrived after 3 months.
Yeah, I can tell you how to make a lot of money just using the internet. If you send me $4.95.
Why haven't we done that yet?
I don't know, but it's on my list.
Joe says a friend in Chicago who has lived there his entire life says it's not that violent.
Oh.
And he should know. He's a tail gunner on the school bus.
I carried a snub-nosed undercover revolver with no hammer in my pocket every day I was in Chicago in the 80s.
Do you like pizza?
I love pizza.
How about baked beans?
I don't. I like baked beans if they have lots of molasses and sugar and pork or sausage in with it, yes, but not plain baked beans, no.
Well, how about Heinz Beans Pizza?
I don't know about that.
In England, you can get it.
Yeah, if I actually have taken beans, Campbell's beans, and I'll cook up like 3 hot dogs and cut them up in pieces and fry the crap out of them so they're almost crispy and stuff, and put that in together with some melted cheese. That's a dinner. That's dinner.
That's
a
good
good
stuff,
dinner.
Maynard.
Yeah.
After buying a limousine, I couldn't afford to hire a driver. All that money and nothing to chauffeur it.
Sure. Oh, sure.
And that's all I had.
I don't know. All right, boys. Coming up on 6 o'clock. I can't believe it. I'm kind of looking forward to my ride home, see if I get a different route on my ways. But, I'm trying to cut down on all the bad driving I see. So every time I pass somebody who's texting and driving, I throw my beer at their window. Coming up on 6 o'clock. I gotta go. You're killing me. Flounder Pete. Hoorah, guys. Herb and Herb. Look out.
Broadcasting station, Extra 106.3 FM.
This is a Fox News alert. The Speaker ousted. I'm Lisa Lacera. For the first time in history, the House has voted to remove the Speaker.